welcome once again. Pixel Response Podcast coming at you live Friday night at 9:30 our time this time.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what?
Friday night, no one does anything. They just stay home.
It's actually not bad. The only thing that I was a little bit annoyed with doing it this late is that I've been up since 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. But
Yeah,
that isn't your fault or anyone else's fault. That is completely my own, and I will bear that burden. But I'm just...
Was there any, like, specific thing that was keeping you up? Like, oh, man, I gotta finish Stick of Truth. Or, oh, man, this book is so good.
No, I finished Stick of Truth. I was just not able to get tired to sleep until noon. And then I was like, if I sleep now, I will not wake up until tomorrow. So I better I better just do my thing here. So that's what I did. Instead, I did something for the first time today I think I'm going to be doing more often. I did FML, Friday morning live stream. So I'm thinking Friday mornings, that's going to be, I'll do something maybe for the next couple of Fridays, like 9 o'clock our time, sort of.
Okay.
And that'll help keep my...
stick to a schedule and stuff. Like, I've just never figured that out in terms of like live stream schedules or anything. It's just if I want to do it, and I almost never do, so it never happens. So yeah, like I could have streamed all of Remember Me, but I didn't because I just wanted to play it.
And you know what? That's fine, because I basically did that with South Park Stick of Truth, because every time I got to a new part, I felt like it was maybe a spoiler. So
yeah, you're kind of letting people... Well, I mean, I Remember Me, for me, it was like, this is kind of tedious. Like, I don't think a lot of people would bother to play this.
Sure.
So, you know, maybe I'd actually be providing some sort of service. But yeah, Stick of Truth sounds like once you've seen that joke, it's, you know, in your head now. And
sure.
when you see it play out again, it's not quite the same.
So I spent all morning playing Payday. Sorry.
First Payday or
Payday 2.
Oh, okay.
So 6 or 7 hours of it today. And the reason for that...
Almost the complete amount I've ever played of that game.
Yeah, the reason for that is we got stuck on... one of the missions is called Framing Frame. Or Framey Frame, something like that. It's a 3-day mission. And we got stuck on the last day. But it was one of those things, it's like, we've been banging our head against this last day for 2 hours. We can't let the rest of this time just go to waste by not finishing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is what I did all morning, and I was playing with Train Drops, better known as Ty, maybe, from Spaghetti Cast in the chat there, and also Peter, aka Mario 64 Mario, and Drathius, or Ben. So me and Spaghetti Cast, basically, doing it up old school style. I had a lot of coffee this morning, and I was fucking pumped. I think I'm gonna save that whole replay just because of how ridiculous it is. I was good to go.
Hours of Payday craziness.
Maybe highlights or something, like some of the missions, because there was some where we were just like, oh, this is such bullshit. And then at the end, we got this new dude in who was a level 2 infamous. No, he was infamous level 2 plus level 58.
Okay.
So
it's like prestige twice, and he's well on his way again.
And we were doing it the fucked up way, like Framey Frame or whatever. If you don't do the last part stealth, you have to do some serious bullshit to get through that part. So when he entered, he's just like, nah, we got this. And he just basically soloed it. So we were like, oh, okay. So whatever. And he was hilarious. He was on the mic going like, yeehaw! It's like talking about like killing all these people and stuff. He was an insane person. I was glad to have met him. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun when you meet random people who are just enjoying something that you're doing with them, you know? Which, I mean, I don't usually feel that anymore because you and I do a lot of stuff together, and I don't think you enjoy anything in life. I'm pretty sure your soul is dead when it comes to video games, unless it's Spelunky. Actually, even then, I'm pretty sure Spelunky is dead to you.
I've stopped playing Spelunky. That's true. I'm trying to. Well, I don't know. Like, it's been a while since a game has really like it's almost been since Miasmata, since the game has just completely captured me and just been like, this is so awesome, you guys. This is amazing. Like even the Spelunky thing, like that was after that, but it was like I'd already played it before, and it was kind of up and down. Like there was no down slope on Miasmata. I ended on a high note and then stopped playing it. Whereas, yeah, I haven't felt that unabashedly good about a game in a little bit now. So,
sure.
I mean, I don't know. It feels weird kind of like elaborating on a game I ultimately thought was kind of mediocre, but there were things I liked about Remember Me. There were moments, you know. If you'd indulge me for a second to explain, maybe. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. So Remember Me is an action game from Capcom that came out last year. And really, the thing that I was just kind of digging about it is it's just kind of sci-fi premise and setting and stuff was just kind of like, this looks cool. I like how this looks visually. It was kind of like the same kind of pleasure I got out of the new Total Recall movie or Elysium, I guess, maybe, or some recent examples of just kind of this future looks cool, so I don't mind that I'm playing kind of a generic adventure through this world because it's kind of a cool world to look at. Or honestly, it was kind of reminding me of Republic, but the gameplay wasn't awful.
Okay.
So that was kind of another point of comparison or whatever. And, you know, the strong female protagonist in a sci-fi dystopia, like Beyond Good and Evil, kind of came to my mind while I was playing it and stuff too.
Right.
So people like that game. It's kind of it almost is like a Final Fight-esque beat 'em up though, and what you're actually doing is just enter a room, a bunch of dudes show up, and you just gotta beat those guys up, and then you get to kind of do some Uncharted style platforming stuff and get to the next area, and then you'll eventually get into another fight. And there's like collectibles all over, like just kind of sprinkled throughout the game. And I just hate that stuff. Like I just kind of ran past it because it's just like I don't have time for this. Like I don't care. I don't want to go look for a thing somewhere. Like that's just a waste of time. So I might have ended up being a little underpowered in some way because some of that stuff gives you experience and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's like anything like really cogent stuff I need to say about this game. It's ridiculous in a way. Like it kind of was reminding me of like video games just so casually do absolutely insane, stupid stuff and don't even feel self-conscious about it. Like it's just like, yeah, you're fighting a like 50-story man made out of cubes of data, and he is a sentient memory monster, and you need to fight it. And it's just like, okay, like it's like it presents that as though it's the most common sight ever. Whereas, like, if that was to be in a movie, it would be kind of like this nuts movie. Like, just like, yeah, I don't know what was going on. Like, it was just a movie, and then in the last half hour, this giant man, like, it's like a Ghostbusters Marshmallow Man kind of thing. Like, it's one of the few examples I have of something ridiculous like that.
Right.
But
where it just kind of goes all for it, yeah.
Yeah, like, maybe it kind of remind me of, like, Bionic Commando, like the remake, where it's just kind of like, his arm is his wife, and you're just like, okay. Like, it's just, what? Like, that's just the dumbest twist ever, but this game kind of provided some similar stuff in terms of just, like, that's nutty, but okay, we'll just go with it. And then, yeah. Sure. And, like, really, the best parts of the gameplay kind of working out, though, was just the music is so, like, actually glitch sounding. Like, it is, like, kind of glitch electronica. So it'll just kind of, like, fade out in weird ways and kind of just like break and hitch in strange ways, but that is part of the orchestration or whatever. So like you're like pummeling dudes and there's this awesome like digital distortion coming off of them, and the music's kind of matching that really well. So it just feels like you're punching shit and it's like breaking the game and the world. And it's I don't know, like the fights aren't like as fun and easy to get through as like an Arkham or something, but the soundtrack augments what you're doing just really well sometimes. So there was like a few instances where it was like the background stuff was like surreal looking enough, and the weird digital effects and stuff they had and the music were all kind of working together, where I was just kind of like, yeah, like this fight could go forever and I wouldn't really be that upset about it. Okay. I will say the pacing though, like the last, like I thought I was done that game and then I kept playing it. So like I was up until like 4 a.m. last night. because that game I thought was almost over. So I was like, all right, I'll jump back in and finish this up.
Yeah.
And it was like 2.5 hours of just extra stuff. Like it was like I finished kind of what I thought was like I killed the guy, but then it's like, no, actually there's another guy. And also you need to kind of deal with this thing with your parents and also this like memory, and you need to remix the remix and all this dumb, like, it's just like, sure, okay. So it just kind of kept threading it out. And even then, it's like only a 7-hour game. Like, it's not like a long game, but it was a bit much. Like, it felt kind of weirdly spaced out. And, okay, I know I just said, like, this was not a popular game. A lot of people didn't play it. I'm not going to, like, spoil the ending, but I do want to kind of just say something about kind of one of the core plot things in the game. Basically, there was, like, a traumatic event that happened in the past. And my issue with it was, like, it didn't seem traumatic enough to warrant what then happened. You know? Like, I'm not going to get too specific, but it's like, I guess I could even. Like, there's, like, a car accident, and there aren't any fatalities, but for some reason, that car accident becomes, like, the motivating thing for this, like, mad scientist to invent this weird memory augmentation like thing and all this stuff. Like, it's like, I need to erase these memories, these horrible memories. And it's like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, medicine has advanced a lot in 2084. Like, you guys are all fine, really. So why did you feel you needed to do that? Like, it's just kind of this weird thing where it's like, that wasn't that big a deal. Like, I don't want to, like, harp on Frozen again, but I honestly felt the same way about Frozen, where, like, the sad thing in Frozen that splits them up didn't seem that bad. Like, it's like, imagine you got in, like, a snowball fight with a sibling and someone got a bloody nose or something. Like, that's basically as bad as it got. But for some reason, that was the thing that created the rift between these characters. And you're just like, just fucking grow up. Like, that wasn't that bad. Like, just, what are you doing? Like, it's like, so it's like, man, I got in this, like, kind of a bit fucked up accident, but we're all okay. And we didn't then use that to get closer as a family. We became mad scientists, apparently. Like, it's just like, this is so weird. Like, I don't know. That was kind of my issue with the writing. Like, usually the thing that causes a mad scientist to go insane. Like, actually, this was maybe... Did you finish Beyond Two Souls?
No.
Okay. I won't elaborate then on Beyond Two Souls specifically. Well, whatever.
I don't care.
Okay.
But other people might. I don't know.
Sure. I guess I'll just say their mad scientist in that game, the thing that happened to his family was actually really bad. So I get why he would be driven to do weird stuff after that. Whereas this was kind of just like, I mean, your insurance premium is going to go up, and, you know, like, it, like, okay, I don't know. It was just kind of a bit much. So sure. But anyway, there's fights in it, and it's occasionally cool. It was like $12.49 in a Steam sale, I think. And given that, like, I wouldn't pay $60 for this game. Like, it was a pretty linear, very scripted, very adventure line kind of, you go and trigger events and stuff happens, and the fights are occasionally just really tedious. Like, there was like some moments where it's just like, man, this would be so epic if I just like walk down this hallway dramatically and go into this supercomputer. But it's like, no, like 30 dudes just spawn out of nowhere and you need to fight them first and then you can go. And it's just kind of like, you guys are just padding this out. Like, this is just bullshit. This makes no sense that these guys are here. And they don't seem to like come up with cool new bad guys at some point. They just basically give them weird augments that make it so it hurts you whenever you punch them, which just makes them hard to fight.
So they just like turn them into like rock or metal or something instead of human?
Well, they just have like electric stuff pulsating on their suits, and they're just like, these are elite troopers. So
that was like that's like the, what the hell is that called? Dark Side of the Force fucking shit. Where it's like, these are the exact same stormtroopers, only this time they have a shield, so your powers won't work.
There are shield dudes too, and you need to break the shield. Well, but like, so I was like, okay, they're electric dudes. I'll just shoot them with my gun thing instead of punching them. And it's just like, no, somehow that hurts you too. Like, I don't know how shooting someone with a projectile would in any way electrocute me at all. It's just like, they just balanced it weird for it to be hard. And it's hard, but just annoying. Like, it's not like cool to beat up this dude. It's just kind of like, this is a really annoying combination of enemies you guys came up for this area. Like, darn it. Like, if this was a quarter feeding...
Darn.
Oh, darn, you guys.
Oh, shucks.
You guys at Capcom. But, I mean, I guess I will say, I played the whole game yesterday, like, beginning to end, all of it. So...
How long?
7 hours. So it was like a big chunk of my day, but kind of split into 2 parts. But the reason I went back to it last night was basically like, I don't think I'll finish this game if I put it down.
Right. If I shelve it. Yeah.
It has my attention right now, so I need to finish this right now, or it'll never get done. And it'll just be in my Steam library forever at like 49% complete or something. Like, I just need to finish this. So yeah, that was that. So it's not a like super endorsement. It's just kind of like a marginal. There was some sci-fi trappings I thought were cool. The remix stuff, actually, I should elaborate maybe on that. There's kind of sequences that are basically cutscenes, but you get to kind of scrub through them and change them. Like, you kind of tinker with them. Like, that's your character's special ability. Is I guess I kind of want to get into maybe like some of the ideas this game posits about memory and the nature of memory. Like, we kind of put up a decent amount of just video content of ourselves every week, right? Like a few hours worth. That
at least audio, at least. But
at least, yeah. Like, there's like a weird amount of data we produce every week that 20, 30 years ago, that wasn't even a thing people did. Like, it's kind of weird. But, like,
right.
I guess this is kind of positing that, like, 70 plus years from now, pretty much all of the things you do are, like, video captured and put on, like, a memory thing that you have. Like, it's basically like, what if your iPhone or iPod was just, like, part of your brain now, and it was just kind of augmented reality for everything. So it's like, you're seeing ads just kind of, like, floating in the air, or, like, relevant information, or, like, traffic signs, or, like, weather, and like just junk. It's almost like a Google Glass kind of thing, but just like integrated into the whole society. And people who don't have that are like the slums. Like, they're out of society now. They're the outcasts. So It's like big data or whatever. And it's like, it's all kind of but the thing with that is like, your memories then are basically so reliant on computer augments. So it's like, you don't actually remember what happened unless you have this kind of attachment. So it's like, there's like an external drive that has everything you've ever done on it. So what your character is able to do is go back, like kind of hack into that drive and change people's memories. So it's like, oh wait, I actually killed that person. Oh no. And then they have like a panic attack. Or you could go back and be like, remove the thing that made them mad at you, and then they won't be pissed at you. So it's almost like an eternal sunshine.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not a bad kind of premise. Like, I was kind of like, all right, you got me. Like, I'll keep listening if you keep talking. And they, talked for 7 hours. There's only like a few segments like that where you're actually altering the memories and stuff. Like, but I don't know. They were each kind of weird and interesting in a way. And I've kind of thought before, like, I like the idea of just kind of scrubbing through footage and finding something weird in the footage as just kind of a gameplay thing. Because, like, that happens.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I think it was honestly when I was watching the movie Sinister, I was like, I wish this was a weird adventure game or something, where it's like, I am Ethan Hawke and I'm looking through this video. I'm like, wait, what is that? And like, in the pool, there's this like fucked up demon killer thing, and it's just like, that's so weird. Like, you pause at the right frame and there it is, and it's kind of like this weird, like, nothing jump scary about it. It's just, you found something weird. And yeah, like this was kind of like, this is a cool mechanic, and it's like a high budget game, so it actually looks pretty sweet doing all this kind of rolling back and kind of changing the direction of the thing. And yeah, I don't know, those segments are kind of the most distinctive thing about the game. And they're honestly like almost cutscenes, but they were kind of engaging cutscenes because I know I can mess with it and see some other stuff happen. So it was kind of a neat adventure gamey kind of segments would pop up in this action game. So yeah, that was maybe like one of the things, but I don't know.
Cool.
It is a video game that I played, so I talked about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess I should take the torch from you then. I should talk about a video game I played, maybe.
Like, you played something beyond Payday 2? There was some other stuff?
In fact, I did. Yes.
Ooh.
Nothing new though.
Well, I mean, you finished Stick of Truth.
I did finish Stick of Truth.
Yeah, and you might.
I'm not going to give away the end to it though.
Right.
So it's still South Park to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, you were going to say but, and then I butt in. What's up?
Well, I guess I kind of just I've heard there's a lot of fun side in jokes to see and like just explore and find.
Sure, I got all of it. I was done that game. Except for the Chin Pokemon, I 100% that game.
Okay. I guess I'm just like, how fresh on recent South Park do I need to get before, like, to know what's going on? Or will I just be kind of like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure this is a joke.
What's the most recent South Park? That, like, season or something? Like, do you know who Mr. Slave is?
I do know who Mr. Slave is, yeah.
Did you watch him in that one episode shove Paris Hilton up his ass?
I think so.
Okay, so that's probably the most recent that you, like, if you hadn't seen, or, like, if you didn't know who Mr. Slave was and, like, how he's kind of in this weird love triangle with, like, Big AL and Mr. Garrison because they're the only gay people in town or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
If, like, you didn't know who they were or, like, they existed, that's probably the most recent where it's like, I don't get any of this sort of thing.
Okay. I think it was like season 12 or 13 or something, and then I haven't seen any in a while. Maybe
and they're on, like, what, season 17 now?
Something like that. So I've missed, like, 2-3 years of it.
Sure.
So if there's some recent material, I might not pick up on it. I'm like, maybe this might be the thing that reinvigorates my South Park enjoyment. I don't know.
It is,
but
I'm
what
it did that for me.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a whole lot I can get into about what I loved about the end of that game without spoiling it, kind of. I will say, though, what that game does is something I really, really love when games do. And it's, like, it's no secret that you have a whole bunch of different party members, different kids or whatever, and they all have different abilities or whatnot, and you can choose to cycle through them and take different people for your party, and they'll play a little role or something. So the end battle is one of those ones that it's like you're fighting against all odds sort of thing against this enemy who can't seem to be taken down. And every time, like, you'll have somebody in your party, like, he'll throw this special attack at you, and because that person is there, they'll, like, have the ability to kind of deflect it so you don't take massive amount of damage. And then, like, after that, they're like, oh boy, I'm tired or something, or like, I'm going to sit this one out. And so then after they do that, they move off to the side. And then, like, another party member comes in. And it's kind of just, like, the nice ending thing where everybody that you were fighting with throughout the whole game is now helping you through the final battle. And I just love that about those type of games. And there's just something about South Park when it does that, too, where it's like the power of friendship or whatever, you know? You're fighting alongside all your new friends and stuff against this, like, crazy enemy.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Okay.
And all the weird characters and references you would expect to be in there are. So it would be excuse me. It would be no spoiler to say there's, like, this character from this season or this character. The only character that isn't in there, and it's a character that nobody remembers because they killed him off early. And they kept him dead throughout the series after they killed him, was Pip. Do you remember Pip? The English boy?
Oh.
In, like, the first couple seasons. They killed him off, and he's just dead. They just didn't
is his grave in the game or anything?
You know, it might be.
Okay.
I honestly don't even know. But, like, he's not in it. And I found kind of funny because he hasn't been in it for a long time. And he's just gone. Or maybe he didn't die. Maybe they just shipped him back to England and he became poor.
Okay.
And, like,
but he leaves.
He, like, left the country.
The
he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so he's still not in it. And it's kind of weird because that's, like, the one character that had a pretty prominent role throughout the first couple seasons as the punching bag before Butters became kind of the punching bag.
Right.
That, like, for them to not include him at all still is kind of hilarious. But
Okay.
yeah, other than that, like, we shouldn't do it, but I was going to say you can name a character that you know, and I could tell you what part they're in. So,
Oh, well, yeah, I'll find that for myself, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah, check that out.
mhm. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said before, the mechanics itself, like the actual playing the game, I haven't played any Paper Mario games. And I heard
I've been hearing that come up a lot as a comparison point. Or Costume Quest as well, but yeah.
And I guess my thing is that, like, I still kind of wouldn't care. Like, if it plays that good, great. But I still don't care about Mario characters as much as maybe South Park, because it seems like Mario characters are very much just the hero, the princess, and the villain. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. They play with that stuff way more in the Paper Mario games than they do in any other Mario games. Like, there's the most writing and kind of self-aware stuff about how absurd the stuff that happens is. Like, they get way more into, like, Bowser being kind of just this weird, sad, troubled guy, and, like, Luigi kind of being in the shadow of his brother and stuff. Like, there's way more story content in Paper Mario than in your average Mario thing. But
okay.
I get, yeah. I mean, it's like I have, grew up with all sorts of like, man, I'm playing Super Mario World and all this stuff. So, like, for them to kind of flesh out the characters at all was kind of like, this is amazing. But I don't know how Paper Mario holds up. I haven't really played it in a while. Like, Super Paper Mario is kind of where I stopped because they changed the fundamentals a lot. Like, they don't have the cool RPG mechanic stuff we're kind of comparing it for. It's more of a weird platformer thing. So,
right.
It's been probably a decade since I played the GameCube one. I just remember it being cool. Like, there's a whole kind of parody of wrestling that they do, which was weird and refreshing in a way. But I don't know. It's
Are you interested in All In Stick of Truth? Like, legitimately? Because I know you're not huge into South Park.
I mean, I was for a little while. Like, it was like one of my passing fancies, like 2009 or something. I was like, yeah, and then I like watched all of it, and then was like, okay, and then it's like, oh, there's more. All right, and I just kind of like fell out of the habit of watching it. So it was kind of a thing I did for a little while, but yeah, I mean, I will check it out. I've liked Obsidian games of years past as well, so there's another interest point there. But
I mean, if you want to get into that, I also played a little bit of Alpha Protocol.
I bought Alpha Protocol on PC recently because it was part of a bundle. So is that why? Is that why you stumbled into Alpha Protocol? Or
what else was in the bundle?
It was the Sega Weekly Bundle. It's still on right now. But
no, I already had it for some reason.
Okay, it has Typing of the Dead as well, which I was playing a little bit of.
Yeah, I saw that. Today. Actually, I played that the other night.
I played Alpha Protocol on 360 though, so like, how are you feeling about it right now? I played it on easy, and because I was told the combat was garbage, so just enjoy.
The combat is absolutely god awful. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad, but that is definitely the weak point of that game. I kind of like just the world of espionage and that kind of stuff they try to do, and they honestly, like, I mean, the creators of Walking Dead copped to this, like the whole time limited choice option thing. They did that first, so it's like, you have like 3 seconds to react to what that guy just said. You're just like, oh shit, and then moving on.
I'm gonna say I don't like that game still.
Alpha Protocol?
Although no.
Oh, okay.
Not very much. I just wasn't having fun with it
pretty quickly, but
yeah. But I mean, yeah, there was that. Okay. So, World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Their new DLC, their expansion pack is coming out soon. So they did this, like, pre-purchase, get your, like, a character up to level 90 sort of thing. Because that's going to be the new thing they're also introducing. Where it's like, listen, we're getting up to, like, level 100 now. So, if you have a friend or whatever that you've been wanting to play with, that getting from level 1 to 100 sounds daunting as fuck sort of thing to be able to play with them. So we're going to offer this whole, like, you can boost a character either one you have pre-made already or one you can just create one sort of thing, up to 90, and then you can play with it or whatnot. But since I'm going to get the game anyways, because I always get the expansion, and then I always do the couple of levels, see the new zones, and then I quit for a while and like go back here and there. It's just the thing I do. I went ahead and bought it, got a new character, and been playing around a little bit with that. But that kind of led to the gateway of Star Wars: The Old Republic. Went free to play a while ago, so I started playing that. And that game is kind of fantastic. It's kind of really good.
Okay, I actually have it installed. I just wasn't able to authenticate an account or something. Like, I had this weird, like, they were supposed to email, or, you know, like a code is supposed to show up on an app on my phone, and I couldn't get the app and the thing to talk to
authenticators in those games always seem to go buggy for me. So I stopped using them, and I know they hate that. Because, like, account compromises and shit like that. But, like, I don't know. I can't be bothered anymore ever since the bullshit I had to go through with one of my characters in WoW a long time ago being locked out because of authentication.
Yeah, it's just like, well, that's on you guys, so fuck, like, who cares? Like, you guys owe me a new character then if mine gets stolen. Like, that's not my fault. So, I don't know.
Right.
Like, it seems a little weird that it's like, you need to have a less easy time with doing this. That's our solution. Master Link is saying I'm hard to hear, so I don't know. I turned up my mic a little bit.
That's fine. Yeah. But so Star Wars: The Old Republic, the thing that is really annoying about MMOs is that you're supposed to be this hero in this land or whatever, kind of like the chosen one sort of thing. Not even really necessarily, but you're part of like an elite group of adventurers or whatever, right?
Sure. And like the game's dialogue talks to you like you're a big deal.
And the first like 50 levels of all of those games until like the last 10 levels before cap usually is go slay pigs, worms, rats, or bandits.
Okay.
So what Star Wars does is it starts you off right away with like, I mean, they're worms. They're still worms. But in the Star Wars universe, even that is kind of terrifying because they have these giant claws and like gross teeth and stuff, and they come in packs and whatnot. So it's still kind of cool. And when you're getting the quest, it's in the form of full like dialogue with voice acting and options you can choose and stuff like that. It's the BioWare thing, right? With Mass Effect and stuff like that. So that itself actually makes it more engaging to actually want to know what the hell you're doing, and that makes a huge difference in getting into the world, I think, that a lot of these other MMOs don't have, where you just go continue, okay, I'll accept sort of thing, the quest, right? And then you just look on your map and see where you have to go and kill 10 boars.
Right.
This is feeling more like a video game that has other people all around me doing at the same time, which is a nice feeling.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't feel like all of us are in this bubble where we're killing boars and waiting for more to spawn, and then we're all going to move on to the next area. This feels like we're all doing a storyline, and since we're all different character classes and stuff, there's different dialogue options in there as well. And some people are a little more evil, a little more good, or whatever, stuff like that. So
what character are you playing? Like, I've heard it is very specific narrative content for each class, right? So...
I am playing a human warrior on the dark side.
Okay.
And the reason for that...
Sith guy, or what do you mean?
No, the reason for that is you cannot pick anything other than 2 different types of species because it's free to play, unless you pay money.
Oh, okay.
So I cannot be Sith. I had to be human, like cyborg and something else.
Oh, okay. That's how they limit the content you have access to.
That's how they limited it. But I wanted a character I could like tank with if we did like instances or something if I get into that game. So I was just like, I'm going to go a warrior anyway. I feel a little bit lame that I'm playing as a human in Star Wars, but
yeah.
Like, whatever. It doesn't matter, I guess. But fucking chat room. Jesus Christ. Okay, but yeah, anyways. So I've been playing that. I've been kind of on an MMO kick. Hearthstone was finally officially released, so I went ahead, got my 5 easy wins in that when a bunch of newbies started playing it, got my ass kicked by a pro, and yeah, haven't been back to that since. And Diablo 3's expansion pack is coming out next week, so I will be pre-ordering and getting that right away so I can play a new class. But yeah, for me it's been pretty much MMOs. I've been playing a game called Delver, which is a first-person dungeon crawler. It's sort of in the vein of the old wizardry and Legend of Grimrock more recently, sort of turn-based things, only it's not turn-based, it's like real-time sort of thing. And it's done in a pixely, almost Minecraft-y 2D voxel style. It's an indie game, so it's whatever. $8, not too bad. I did a little bit of streaming of that, and a little bit of a beta called Dawngate, which is essentially League of Legends.
I don't know how to do things.
So that is everything that I did this week, pretty much. I feel like I'm right?
embarrassing Brittany because I don't know how to post a GIF in a thread, a chat room. So she's mad at me now.
Oh, okay.
Not mad, just baffled. I was like, I'm just gonna copy where it is to the thing, and it'll just know to put the thing, right? That's how it goes. Sorry, wow. I have some Towerfall replay GIFs that I wanted to share, but they are not. That's impossible, apparently. There's no way to do it.
No way to do it.
I don't know.
Actually,
Sorry.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't think you're even set as a mod, so yeah, you can't.
Oh, okay, good.
Unless you are.
That's fine. Sorry, what was the $8 game you were talking about?
It's called Delver.
Oh, and it's the voxel kind of okay, but...
Yeah, it's fine. It's fun. It's probably worth $4 or $5.
Okay.
$5 is maybe a bit too steep, especially since it's in the early access program, so it still has some weird problems here and there, but all around pretty solid if you're into that type of game. It's kind of one of those procedurally generated death labyrinths, as people want to call them now, but it's a fucking roguelike. Get over it. Yeah, that's pretty much it that I did for video games this week.
Okay.
For myself. So
I guess it's kind of been mostly threes and such over here. I did start another Japanese adventure graphic novel type game, but it's the tone of it was really goofy. It's called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
I've been wanting to actually play that.
I would very much, based on what I've seen so far, recommend the Zero Escape games over this game. But if there's something specific to the premise or something that's interesting to you, maybe it's like a bunch of high school kids.
Isn't it just kind of the school kids like murdering each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Okay, Zero Escape is a bunch of characters kind of turning against each other in a weird situation too. It's just
are they school kids?
They're better than school kids. They're characters. I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm already kind of just like, man, this is some cliche stuff. Like, it's just like, the teen pop star, the ultimate athlete. Like, it's just kind of like, these are just like archetypes. These are barely people. Like, I don't know if the writing is gonna get into that and make them more interesting, but I was not finding it as engaging right off the bat. I had just played kind of 2 games of that type back to back, so maybe that was part of it, but... So
you're just kind of sick of it now?
I don't know. Like, I'll maybe give it another try. It does have, like, some first-person bits where you're kind of walking around the halls of the school, and I'm not sure if they're actually going to do cool stuff with that at some point, where, like, there were some moments within Zero Escape where I felt they could have really had something in some places where you're like walking through this creepy warehouse and then you see the thing like firsthand, as opposed to, and the story just kind of showed you the thing because it's all kind of very linear progression from point to point or whatever. Like, okay. Yeah, there's this weird crazy bear that's kind of the host of the thing. Although there's a crazy rabbit in Virtue's Last Reward, so that.
Bear versus rabbit. That's pretty much what you're saying between the two.
Weird two-faced bear versus cackling AI rabbit.
Okay.
I
I can feel it.
yeah, it's goofy though. It is right off the bat sillier than I was kind of wanting. Maybe.
Hoping.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll maybe chew into it a little more later and see how I feel. But of the weird Japanese that kind of thing so far, oh yeah, Ultimate Fanfic Writer is one of the students. It's whatever. I barely played it. That I think that's kind of it for games. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? I don't know. Threes. Remember Me. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all of it. I think there was another one, but stay tuned to Top Down for the last one. I don't remember what it is now. Must have been awesome.
What about like movies or something? You've been doing any of that movie shit. I did one that actually you can talk to me about now.
Okay, go. Yeah, what?
I saw the Old Boy remake.
Oh, okay. How'd you like it?
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it was alright.
You know what? I for someone who was going into it ready to fucking tear it apart and hate it, and I did for the first 10 minutes because I was like, what the hell is this shit? They brought it back, and it was pretty good. So, good job, guys. I didn't think that movie needed remaking. I still kind of don't, but you did fine.
They kind of did some weird, fucked up stuff on their own, which I was kind of...
They really did. And yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't try to do the hallway one-shot moving hammer bludgeoning scene.
They did.
No, they didn't. It was just one static shot, and then he did it a few times, and then like more guys came, and then he walks out.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because in the first one, they're moving down the hallway. It's all one big long shot for the whole way out. Mm-hmm. Which is very cool. But
I'm told that is kind of the movie that went to theaters was kind of an edited down version. I think the actual original scene like that was kind of a one shot thing. But
okay. Oh, yeah. I could look that up then.
I think the fight in the elevator, though, if that's what you're saying, that was also not in the Korean movie. It was just
it wasn't.
Doors open, more dudes, and then cut to doors opening, and all those dudes are dead somehow, and Odesu totally killed them. So yeah, I thought Josh Brolin was pretty good.
He is very easy to hate, and then very easy to feel sorry for after the 20 years thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually generally impressed with that movie. Like, I mean, there's still the moments where you're just like, oh yeah, Spike Lee, where it's just like, I put racism in here because that's my favorite theme. I need it in there. Like, I need this bellboy character in there because that's what I do. And you're just like, okay, like, I don't know if that adds anything, but sure. How do you feel about Charlton Copley, the bad guy? You know? I thought he did actually, like, of the performances last year, I liked him more in this than, say, Elysium. I just thought I
didn't see Elysium.
Oh, okay. So. Like, he tries to do, like, super tough badass, and I'm just like, your voice is too silly for this to work.
He can't do badass, and the reason I think I'm saying that without seeing Elysium is that he did a serviceable job just being the cunning dickhead behind everything. Mm-hmm. Like, his role is like as the guy who masterminds something and then just has the money to make it happen. So yeah, he's not. It's like that works fine.
Sure,
right?
It's just I have the means to make a weird plan go through. You're just like, okay.
But I mean, the same themes are still there. Mm-hmm. So
I thought Samuel L. was actually pretty good. Like that was kind of a throwaway character in the Korean movie, but they actually kind of gave him a little more to do in this, so I was kind of there's some pluses and minuses. I actually ended up liking it more than I thought, so
yeah, for sure. So I was actually pretty happy about that.
It was kind of critically reviled, but I mean,
really
a little bit. I think it was pretty low. It didn't do well at the box office, I know that for sure. It was not at all successful, which I mean, it is a Korean movie that is the point of inspiration, so oh, wait, It's all right. Here, let's check this out. Sorry, I'll have that percentage. 44%. So, more than half the people who saw it said, no, this is not very good.
I'd give it a solid 70 to 80 myself. I had a good time watching it, so.
Yeah. And weird stuff happens. So, if you haven't seen any version of this story, I I don't know if you need to see it. You kind of, it's just bad things happen. I don't even know what the redeeming value of it is. It's just, do you want to see twists happen and a man?
Well, do you want to see a revenge film with twists at the end? That's all it is.
Do you want? Yeah, if you want a gritty revenge movie, this is a good one. But if you don't want that, you know, don't watch it.
I did think it was cool how his character went from like this drunk or whatever at the beginning, and then when he gets out, like he's just kind of, he has that thing that happens to prisoners that have been in solitary confinement for too long, where they haven't had physical contact or contact with other people for long enough that they become feral, basically. So, like, when he gets out and those, like, football or rugby players or whatever were, like, hassling him, he just, like, destroys all four of them.
Just, like, crushing their knees and stuff. It's just like, oh, God.
He's just, like, ready to bludgeon them to death. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a total overreaction, but he doesn't know how to function inside anymore. He was not part of it for 20 years this time. That's right. They add years to it in this movie. So, yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Pretty solid movie. I don't know if I would even suggest see the Korean version first. Like, I love the Korean version, and I still think it is the one to see because that's the one I saw. But, like, if you don't want to read subtitles or any of that, and you just kind of want to sit there and watch kind of like a gore porn American-made Korean film, it's the American version. It's fun. It's the exact same content.
It's got some performances in it.
It's the same content in the end, really.
Basically, the exact same thing happens.
Yeah.
So, sure. Okay. I'm glad that you had a similar time as I did. I wasn't sure how you'd feel about it, but yeah.
Sure.
Spike Lee, probably one of the better Spike Lee movies that I've enjoyed. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of the other movies he's done that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, like I like, Do the Right Thing is a well-made thing, but I actually didn't like Inside Man very much. Like, people were like, "Oh man, this movie's crazy." It's like it's just kind of boring. Like, there's just not a lot happens.
No, I did like Inside Man quite a bit. I would probably have to disagree on that one myself.
Yeah, it's just not a good movie.
Oh, it's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely no Spring Breakers in terms of quality, so that's good.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But like, I never did see Malcolm X, which is the film everybody like. Right, that's what brought him on board and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of touted as a top tier one of his. I'm trying to. There's some.
Just trying to remember what the
80s movie I watched that he did. Don't remember what it's called. I don't know.
What was the school one? Was that him?
Days?
No, with the school shooting. Was that him?
I don't think
that one?
So.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
riveting
whatever
stuff. I don't know. Yeah, now
probably was
like okay. I guess also that one with Edward Norton, everyone really enjoyed. 25th Hour.
I never saw it either.
I did see it. It's okay. Like, I don't know about one of the top 10 films in the 2000s. Like, oh man, it's so amazing. It's just like it's an okay movie. I don't know. It's like Bamboozled. Okay. It's okay. Nothing special.
Bamboozled.
Yeah, it's called that.
It is called that. You're right.
I did see that one as well. That one actually was kind of okay, but weird. Not as weird as this picture in the chat, though. Anyway.
Giant. Yeah. Giant mech dongs live on my hitbox. Fan-fucking-tastic. But yeah, so what about you? Any movies or TV? You've been doing the TV thing?
Yeah, TV. We've been watching Top of the Lake. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
That seems to be going around, people not knowing what that
is.
It's a BBC drama kind of crime thing about a series of sordid events in New Zealand. It kind of starts with like a suspicious, like a tween pregnancy, like 12, 13-year-old girl.
Gross.
That's not supposed to happen. She's kind of like suicide attempt, kicks off everything, and people are like, what's going on? Elizabeth Moss, she's Peggy from Mad Men, so, point of reference, I guess. She's kind of visiting to see her mom. She's from the mainland, I guess. I think she works in Sydney or something. and she is visiting New Zealand, but she is a detective who then kind of takes an interest in this case and tries to figure out what's going on. And we're still kind of in the like towards the end of the show. We're in like the last 2 episodes, but it's been kind of cool seeing like kind of different crimes get talked about. Like we've been doing a lot of murder mystery stuff. There is some of that kind of stuff going on, but this is more kind of sexual politics and rape culture and stuff are kind of topics in the show that are kind of
good, light conversation topics.
Yeah,
for supper.
No, it's a bit of a, it's a thoughtful show. It's well made. And I don't know, it's kind of been engaging in a way of just kind of show you talk about a bit after, just be like, oh, I don't know about that. That was kind of crazy. And it's like yeah. So it's been nice to kind of see something a little more serious. Yeah, it's not actually Meowth. It's not boring at all. So, hey.
So there.
Like, people in New Zealand are...
I don't know where you were going with that. You're just like, so it's like, so there.
I mean, I also watched one episode of Space Dandy, and I don't know about that. So
did you actually?
Throwing right back. Yeah, I watched the first one.
Okay, let me know what you thought. I'm interested.
It was kind of like doing similar things for me as like Doctor Who stuff, in that it's like really zany, but because it's animated, it can actually show off a lot more zany stuff. So there's like crazy giant aliens and things that you just can't do on a BBC budget or whatever. But I don't know. It's like I wasn't getting tickled quite right in terms of just chuckling. Like I was just kind of like, okay. All right. That was kind of some wordplay. Oh, they're talking about boobs. Like, okay. He's mad at people who are obsessed with boobs because he's an ass guy. And you're just like, okay, I get it. Do you watch it in English or Japanese?
Oh no, English.
Maybe it's funnier in English. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like maybe it's like zanier performances or something. Because like it's very much like, yeah, that is that kind of delivery I expect from Japanese comedy, of like kind of loud and ooh kind of stuff. And it's just like, that's not like, is that funny?
Oh really? Oh, yeah. It's not like that in the English version. Like the oh ooh or like sounds or
whatever. I don't like, that's probably a bad characterization of the voice acting, but it just seemed very like the absurdity of what they're saying doesn't come across to me in what the delivery. It's just kind of like, okay, like I guess that guy said boobs in Japanese, but I don't hear that, so it's like I'm reading absurdity, and that's not quite the same. So maybe because
the words and sentence structure is different because it's a different language, you don't get the subtle like how things are said sort of. I don't know. It's a different thing when you're reading subtitles and hearing people in another language say something than when you're hearing the sarcasm or like the pacing of somebody saying a line in our language.
Yeah.
Or like a language you understand sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's very important for Space Dandy at all, but I think it's important enough that you should maybe try episode 2 with English.
I think I will then. I did. Yeah. I guess the one thing I did like is like his robot is kind of old and shitty, and it's like this thing is outdated, but he still has it, and it's like, hi, I'm gonna print off this like punch card of information. And you're just like, what are you doing? This is useless. I can't even read this. That gag was okay.
Like, did you get? Yeah, that gag was pretty funny. It's like, what does it say? I can't read circle. It's like, what did it say? It's like, no, I don't, or something. I don't know. It's just like, why would you print something that long to say that? Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is something that plays better, I think, in English, maybe, because it's a little bit more dry if you're just reading the text, which for some stuff is probably okay. I don't know if Space Dandy is that, but maybe your homework for this week, just watch one more episode in English and let me know what you think after. And then if you still hold the same belief where it's like, it's just not doing it for me or whatever, then it won't do anything for you. And that's fine. Because it's anime. Who gives a fuck about anime? So anyways, what else did you do?
Well, I don't know. I maybe want to elaborate more on crime thing, but I guess people aren't interested, so.
No, I'm interested. I don't even fucking care. This is our time.
I don't know. It's like, I have never seen the piano, so it doesn't even really matter. But it's like a well-regarded filmmaker is kind of the showrunner of this show. I guess
for some reason I thought you were saying the pianist. That's just like,
No.
that's wrong because Holocast still has to happen.
Yeah.
Holocast.
Holocaust. Yeah. That's a
Fuck.
great idea.
That's no, it's really not, but we should probably do it.
We should probably do it. No one else has
Yeah.
that I've seen, so 3 hours of misery. That's what we'll call it. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, we've also been kind of dabbling with this show called Broadchurch, which is a David Tennant murder mystery, and I guess I just want to like. It's kind of been a thing between True Detective and that. Like, we've kind of been digging in a lot of the same subject matter for a while, but like. Something about like it's just like the importance of the showrunner seems to be really coming through to me, of just like you need someone who kind of has a vision for where this is going, or like someone kind of keeping everything moving towards a goal or something, because like Broadchurch seems just kind of listless right now. Like, it's just kind of like, hey, there's a small town and something weird happened, but it's just kind of like wandering around. I don't know. I'm not getting that hook. Like, it's not kind of pulling me through to the next episode. Like, it seems like a show ought to be kind of, at some point, making you curious to see what then happens in the next. It's a serial storytelling, right? Like, you want to keep going. And I don't know. Like, some shows are better at it than others. And, like, Top of the Lake is doing an okay job at that, but it almost feels like, honestly, just one big 4 or 5 hour movie. So it'll just kind of end mid-thought sometimes. And it's up to you. You're then supposed to kind of watch the next one. But it all feels kind of part of a cohesive unit. Whereas, I don't know about Broadchurch. I'm kind of... I wish it was better, because I like...
You're not feeling it.
Yeah, I like David Tennant, and I want him to succeed, but...
I want him to be in better things.
I want his agent to find better things that, like... he's kind of got a comic, like, inherent... energy that if you're not going to tap into it at all, like, I don't know why you cast him. Like, it's just kind of like a weird choice. Right. And he's actually going to be in the remake of that show too, so he's going to play the same character again in the American show, and I just kind of hope they have some other person producing that show over here or something that can like make that story, because it has some like good ideas. Like, it's just kind of like, what would the role of like Twitter and like new media and stuff play into like trying to keep a sad investigation under wraps. So it's kind of like this battle between the media and the cops to kind of solve this crime. But, like, the media kind of just wants to sell newspapers and stuff. So, like, that's kind of like an interesting potential conflict, but they haven't made it interesting in this show. It's just kind of there.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
And it seems like if you don't make that interesting, it's just dry and boring.
It is. It can be incredibly dry, and it's just kind of like, man, this is...
That's like if House of Cards... didn't make it interesting and have one of the most charismatic like actors portray the role so good. Yeah. That would be boring as fuck.
It could, like, it's like the exciting world of politics. There's men talking about stuff. Fake business deals that don't even exist. Like, it's just kind of like, this should be boring. Like, they're talking about China and all this stuff. It's just like, I don't really care about this fake bridge that doesn't exist in this show. This is season 2 stuff, sorry. But, like, it's very kind of potentially dry stuff, but they kind of make it clear, like, oh, these are, like, power plays and people kind of betraying each other and subverting each other's interests and kind of playing this larger game of power mongering. And in a contemporary kind of setting, it's kind of like, oh, man, that's actually kind of how this might be. And I mean, I guess that's kind of what Game of Thrones is doing, like people playing, different minions and stuff, but it's all fake fantasy stuff, so I don't care.
I do know. You're preaching to the choir, man.
Kinda, like, it's just like, no, I get this is a big budget show and it's well produced and stuff. I just don't.
That's the only thing that keeps me interested to maybe see more, is to see how big they can go with it, because I don't give a fuck about like the other stuff, the story or characters in it at all. I don't.
And even when I was at my like highest point of enjoying that show, there was like maybe 2 or 3 characters I actually liked, and then they kept sprinkling more in there.
No, they just kill them off, period.
They either kill those ones or just start adding more things to it, and you're just like, why did you add this guy? Like, this guy's boring. Why is he even here? Well,
right.
Maybe someone else didn't like the character you liked, so we need to get everybody in. It's just like, I don't I don't know what's going on.
It's like, I don't agree with this at all.
Yeah, like this is too sprawling to the point where it seems aimless. Like it's just spreading out. It's not actually going towards a thing I care about. Like there's no endpoint for that whole thing. Like George R. R. Martin has said, he's not done writing the books. He could write them forever. That's not a thing that makes me excited about your show.
Actually, South Park plays on
this
that
is
too.
Pointless. Okay.
South Park
just
makes
aimless.
fun of that pretty good.
In the game?
No, in their show. In season 10, they have a 3-episode arc, and it's basically how George R. R. Martin, like, keeps saying how this grand shit's gonna happen, but all it delivers is, like, medieval penises everywhere. That's basically the joke. So, yeah, they play on that a little bit too, but I still couldn't care less because it's Game of Thrones. Like, who really fucking cares? I already know the big plot points that happen because internet. And people can't shut their mouth about it. And then they say, well, if you wanted to know that, you should have read the book, which is the stupidest fucking argument I've ever heard for anything, but whatever. That's fine. So that's it? That's all you've been doing?
I'm trying to think that, like, There's like stuff I'm anticipating doing. Like there's a new movie from the guy who directed Prisoners called Enemy that comes out in theaters this week that I'm planning to see. The new Miyazaki movie I'm planning to watch. Why was there something? Oh, okay. I thought Brittany was reminding me of something we were doing. Oh yeah. Okay. Just today we finished watching The Good Son. Have you ever watched that movie?
No, I haven't.
You know what it is, though, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, here, as a kid, I grew up watching, like, the Home Alone movies, right? That's just a thing. Of
course.
Rite of passage just happens at some point. Your dad's like, hey, I rented this. We're going to watch it. It's Christmas time. And you're just like, okay. And it's like, man, this is super dumb, but kind of awesome. And I was way into those. So Macaulay Culkin was in this R-rated psychological thriller in 1993 with Elijah Wood called The Good Son.
Okay.
And I've been kind of like sort of curious about this movie like since it came out. Like I would like see ads for it and just be kind of like, whoa, weird. But then it was like, oh, you're not allowed to watch this movie. Like this is an R-rated movie. And you're just like, oh, okay. So like, I wasn't able to talk about it. But it would be kind of thing like I think I had like some of those like schoolyard conversations about it with like some kid who did see it. And you're just like, oh shit, like what happened? And it's just like, oh, it's so fucked up, dude. There's this part and like whatever. Like it's just kind of like this weird kind of, you know, mystery around this movie because it's got this kid actor in it, but it's not kid friendly. And it's not kid friendly. Like it is just an unpleasant, weird movie about like this psychopath who is Macaulay Culkin's character, Henry. And Elijah Wood, like his mom just passed away. So he and his dad has to go away on this like really important business trip. So he just stays with his cousin and aunt and stuff, and it's kind of like about that 2-week period or whatever. And yeah, like it's just like murderous psychopathic kids. Like I know that's kind of its own like it kind of was
done
like,
a few times.
It has, like, you know, it's like this, but this is not like any The Omen like devil stuff or anything or that weird like there's this movie where like Robert De Niro clones this kid. Yeah. Godsend. Like it's not like that or like Orphan or anything. It's just this kid
Robert
is just
De Niro clones this kid.
Yeah, that's the movie synopsis.
That's the movie premise. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's just so dumb sounding.
It is. Yeah, I didn't actually end up watching it. I just knew more about it. So it's like man, this is one of the few examples of this genre I've actually seen, and it is just like kind of weirdly upsetting, but it just almost seems like perverse or weird. Like it's just like. This is like adults writing weird things for kids to do that I don't think kids would do normally or something. Like it's just kind of like, but at the same time, it's almost like reminding me of like Bart Simpson-esque antics, but with like real world consequences. So it's just like, we're going to drop this thing off this bridge. Oh, 10-car pileup. And then that's that. Or like, man, this dog, like there's that one Simpsons where Nelson wants Bart to shoot that bird.
Yeah,
with the pellet gun.
Well, he does shoot it. Yeah,
it's almost like that kind of thing, but it's a dog that's been kind of hassling them, so they shoot it with this crossbow and stuff. But it's like kind of just like like just weird, sad things. Like this family just kind of is falling apart, and like I don't know, like it's like almost in. Did you see Heavenly Creatures, the Peter Jackson movie?
I did actually, yeah.
Yeah, that movie is like upsetting, but it seems like it has a point behind it or something. Like it's
upsetting?
Well, like the actual crime that happens, I was just like, that is like the worst thing a kid could do to anybody. Like that's just terrible. It's terrible that this happened. You know?
Sure. Okay.
Like it's about a murder, so it's terrible.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like just kind of like not so much how it's depicted or anything. It's just like that is so sad that happened, and it's a true crime story, so it seems kind of earned, and they seem to be kind of respectful about what they're doing. Whereas this just almost seems like weird stuff, like dark stuff that came to someone's mind and they made a movie. And it ended up doing well. I didn't know that. Like I thought it was kind of this weird box office bomb, but it made like $60 million and didn't cost very much. Like it was like 17 million or something. So it tripled its budget. But it was kind of just this weird kind of like blind spot in my Macaulay Culkin understanding. Yeah. And it's weird. Like, I mean, it's kind of like also weird considering like subsequently, like, I mean, there's a couple Culkins in this movie. Like his sister's in it, Quinn Culkin, and like Rory Culkin. Apparently,
do they all look the same?
You could tell that Quinn Culkin is related. Like she looks similar. It's like that is Macaulay Culkin with a longer haircut and different voice. You know, like it's like kind of
all right, yeah.
And like Rory Culkin, who's an actor, I guess he is kind of featured in photos of this younger brother who mysteriously died. Maybe Henry's involved. You'll have to watch the movie.
Oh shit!
Find out. Yeah, actually, no. Whatever. It's like a 20-year-old movie. Yeah. He was involved. Not only that, they like forecast the dark stuff that happens like so overtly. Like there's this ridiculous cliff in the movie that is just like, oh yeah, sometimes my mom goes and just kind of stares out at the ocean and thinks about sad things that happen to her. It's like, who does that? But she's just kind of standing near this. Like,
he pushed him off the cliff, right?
Exactly. That happens at the end of the movie. Like, it's like, oh, obviously they're going to go back to the cliff, and that's where the climax happens. It's like, yeah, there it is. Like, that's obviously where the final thing goes down.
Well, Hitchcock always said, if there's a shotgun on the mantle or whatever in Act 1, by Act 3 it will go off.
Yeah, if you don't do that, you, like, flipped off your audience, yo. So
I think Goosebumps did that a lot, if I remember correctly. Kind of, they would just introduce scary things that they never made good on.
So it's just kind of like create an atmosphere of unease and then not necessarily do anything crazy with it. Like, yeah.
Like, kind of like Gone Home, in a way, if we're going to be super critical and bring that argument up, even though I know people hate it.
Just bring up that game again, okay? What is the Gone Home?
No, not that thing, but, like, how it felt like there was going to be a weird ghostly presence or like something bad happened. And then it's just like, and they kind of forcefully try to put that down your throat a little bit, even though they do explain why the lights go out here or like why it's creaky or whatever, why there's this weird fucking pathway to the attic and basement in a closet and all this weird creepy shit. They explain it fine, but that doesn't still detract from the fact that the reason they put it in there was to create this atmosphere of unease that they never made good on. So, well,
I feel like them kind of like resolving that stuff is the Ouija board and kind of the weird thing, like the pentagram or whatever at the end. But
so pointless. Like,
I guess if you're kind of suggesting like they kind of unfairly trade on horror tropes to kind of like goose up some interest, and then it's like, no, it's actually just a drama about this teenager. And you're just like, oh, I thought it was a horror game. No, it's not. But hey, thanks for playing. You know, like ghosts. So.
I honestly, I don't think that they like explicitly try to make you think there are ghosts, but they do the subtle things that your mind will go there. Like it just will.
There's like a book that they have that's about ghosts, and then there's kind of a journal about their dead uncle and stuff. Like they kind of put your mind down that path, I guess. Yeah, fair enough.
But then, like, at the same time, you have to find those books and journals and read them. So, like, it's still a weird thing that you put upon yourself, but, I mean, like, why would you even bother writing about that and putting it in the game if you didn't want the player to somehow get
that ambient horror vibe from it.
I guess it's like if the house has that reputation in the neighborhood, like the people that live there would have to be curious about it, especially if they're a teenager, right? Like it's just like,
Right.
oh, we live in the creepy house. All right, well, what's that about? And like, that would be kind of the thing. Like, I mean, like whatever.
They call it like the murder house or something. They call it like the kids there call it something like crazy house or some shit like that.
Something, the psycho house, maybe even.
Yeah, something like that.
Something
where
along
it's just like, oh, okay, so they want us to believe that something like there's something dark about this house, and it's like, no.
I mean, whatever. If you went through like our family's house when I was in like grade 3 or something, you'd find like some UFO books or something, and like a book about Yetis, but it wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, well, obviously they got abducted by aliens. Like, it's like, no, that doesn't necessarily lead to that. It's just that would be the story this house tells, because that's what the people in it are interested in. So,
but then at the same time, at that age, you wouldn't have probably been playing with a Ouija board, doing pentagrams, and then writing in your journal how everything's hopeless.
But that would have been like, 10 years later, I'm watching horror movies and, reading about Ouija boards and being too scared to ever buy one. But, you know. So they find this, like, Sears catalog. The Ouija board.
I actually had a Ouija board.
Okay. Have you used it?
You know what the weird thing was? I couldn't use it because it didn't have the
wood arrow?
The finder part. Yeah, the arrow.
That's kind of key.
That's kind of what made it creepier, because I found it in the field behind my house.
What? Oh, the Ouija board. Not the
Ouija board.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not the pointer. That's why it didn't have a pointer, because the Ouija board itself was just buried in a little bit of snow in the field right behind our house. So I picked it up and brought it in, and my parents freaked out a little bit because they were just like, "What the fuck?
Why did you bring this in here?" It's just like, I found it.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a cult doing some stuff near here.
And then all of a sudden we started hearing ghostly hauntings in the middle of the night and voices.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need triangles. The letters just start popping off of the Ouija board in blood and just like tattooing themselves into my like skin or something.
Yeah, you just wake up and pull up your shirt and it says something.
It says yes.
Yeah. Good Son doesn't get into any of that. It's just creepy kids being creepy. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just kind of like knowing about it for 20 years and then finally watching it and just being kind of like, man, why does this exist? Like, this is just
any good though? Like in terms of a movie that you watched for a couple hours?
It's like short. It's like 82 minutes or something.
Okay.
Kind of an okay, like just background Netflix thing. Like just click. All right. Like, I mean, it's Elijah Wood is the main character, so it's kind of weird seeing him running around being like just paranoid and freaked out by his creepy cousin.
Right.
So yeah, it's like Elijah Wood versus Macaulay Culkin, Battle of the Kid Stars, and who wins? You have to watch the movie to find out. Yeah, I don't know, just kind of gloomy. Just like if you want to see something gloomy, it's there. It's on Netflix streaming right now, so check it out. I guess that was kind of I'm trying to think if there's any other kind of film stuff. Sopranos. I keep watching that. Actually, there was the one I watched today had Jon Favreau in it. He factored in as Jon Favreau, which was kind of weird. Like I don't know. Like one of the characters has kind of like ambitions to write a screenplay. So there's kind of like meta narrative stuff of like people making gangster movies, but within a gangster TV production. So like they're talking about films and stuff. I don't know. It's pretty good. I still like that show. There's kind of this episode is actually pretty solid. There was the young soprano AJ, the kid, was having kind of all these existential kind of worries about like there is no God, God's dead. I'm reading some Nietzsche, and like his parents just totally upset about that, which is I don't know. There's some fun stuff, but I don't know. Sopranos. It's actually turns out it deserved some of those Emmys. Maybe it's a quality show.
Cool.
That's it for me, I guess. I've been reading Roger Ebert's book some more, and actually, do you mind if I talk about that? That's kind of been one of the things on my mind of just like It's kind of weird reading like a 70-year-old person's like reflections on that entire span of time and just kind of being like kind of down about, oh, this building actually doesn't even exist anymore, and this cool guy I knew when I was in like college is dead now. And it's just like another good way to just be kind of sad. But I don't know. I really enjoyed his movie content stuff, right? So like I am interested in who he was and what he did. And I don't know. It's kind of been a weird thing to kind of just close out the day with, though. Like, it's just like, all right, let's read some stories. And it's just kind of like, wow, that's really sad. Anyway, and then try to go to sleep. And then it's just like, no, now I'm just like stirred up thinking about like, how many people do I know? Am I not sociable? Should I like hang out with more people? Am I scared of intimacy? You know, fun conversations around here. But
are you?
Good. I don't know. Actually, I guess I'll just elaborate on that because like I'm not sure what does that mean to you? Because like I was kind of like, does that mean I'm afraid to talk about myself and be kind of like share myself with people, or does that mean
no?
I am scared of losing someone I'm super close to, so I don't get super close to people?
Both.
Okay.
You don't get. You're scared enough about losing someone that you don't open yourself up because it leads you more to be more vulnerable.
But like, I don't think I'm afraid of them like just leaving and betraying that information. It's more just like,
sure,
you know, you're kind of growing closer and closer. But then if that person like gets sick or something, like I would be totally devastated. As opposed to,
I don't think it's anything to do with actually like giving information. I think it's reflecting on yourself and putting yourself out there to a point where you're completely like vulnerable, sort of thing. And then it's like sharing sharing so much of yourself with someone that like if something happened to them or like they left or whatever, they take that part away a little bit.
Okay. Like they will always know that about you or have that over you, or
and then maybe you don't. Not like you're not ready to share it with someone else ever, sort of thing, because
the last time you did, it didn't work out the way you
thought.
It
just sucked. Like it just sucked.
Yeah.
So bad. Yeah.
I guess. Maybe. Yeah. See, I guess it's just kind of the book's kind of prompted me to kind of take a bit of a life inventory as to like where am I, where do I want to be, and like who is important, and I don't know. So
you have those answers yet? Because
no.
I can tell you I don't.
It's kind of weird. It's like I bought a journal, but I'm like not writing in it much because it's like I don't know. It's like I used to journal all the time, but it would basically be very kind of like for the most part very just kind of procedural stuff. Like just like what did I do today? Okay, I watched this. I ate this. Like it was just kind of very list of facts almost. Like it was kind of dry. Whereas, like, I kind of want to just write stuff when something important's on the mind, but I don't know what that is. Like, or maybe I should just chronicle every day, and then it'll be interesting after the fact, years later, when it's like, I remember when I did that. That's crazy. Like,
you could do audio logs. It seems to work for everybody in bad situations when a protagonist is going through and needs to learn more about the situation.
You mean just record memo on, like, I've already got a bunch of memory taken up on my phone.
Yeah, but it's on your phone. You need to get like cassette recorders, leave the tape inside them, and just kind of leave them all over your apartment. So when the nuclear bomb eventually goes off, they will be spread across all of Calgary, and somebody going through the wreckage will learn about our generation.
Right, and for some reason, it's not like 90 minutes of content. It's like a minute on one tape in a thing somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Like an audio log would be like, went to the mall today to buy, what the fuck was that game you bought? To buy Wind Waker HD. I still can't believe Nintendo's doing so bad. What the hell happened to them? I mean, they were the biggest thing when I was a child. I guess things just change. Tape cuts.
And it's just like, ooh, something to think about. Yeah. Man, I do have like a big reel-to-reel tape recorder that I've honestly been kind of curious about, like just putting some stuff on there because, like, why not? I own it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Why don't we do a podcast on there?
Like, yeah, just like record a podcast onto it, and then we'll have like a physical media version of the podcast, and then just put it on a shelf somewhere, and then like people could listen to it years after the fact, and I don't know, or the tape would get all crusty and brittle and break.
Or like, what if we did that and did like a giveaway or something?
We could. I don't know what the recording quality is, or like I have a
or
bunch
like
of
how
old tapes.
People would play it.
Yeah, just like if you have one of these, it's like a suitcase size thing. It's this big
with
thing.
the little arms that come out, right? Like a film reel thing almost.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like the ones in Singularity. Like it's just like if you just find a big briefcase size thing with like reels on it, and it's just like, oh, what's on here? Oh, weird. People talking about video games in 2014. What? Who did that? But yeah.
I think that could take us down a weird path that we don't want to go down because we're afraid of where it leads.
Mm-hmm.
Just like leaving random podcasts on tapes in bathrooms across the city or something. It could just go
viral marketing thing. Just like leave Pixel Response mixtapes around town.
You know, it honestly worked for like 9 Inch Nails when they did their weird thing, their viral marketing thing. So, but then again, they were also huge already. So
this was like new album coming out, street team kind of stuff.
This was new album coming out, and to go with the theme of the whole album, there'd be like weird messages that you would have to decode on flash drives hidden in dive bathrooms and like telephone booths and shit like that.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I don't know if we could really orchestrate something.
We can't. We straight up can't. We cannot do that.
It's like, hey, next time I'm at my favorite burger place, I could hide a tape somewhere. But that's not the same.
I was thinking of actually starting to put our stuff on SoundCloud. How do you feel about that?
I feel okay about that.
Why not?
I've had a SoundCloud for a long time. I just never go there.
I used it a lot last night. I spent about 6 hours just going through different songs and remixes and stuff and choosing ones I liked.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yes.
It's just what I did.
I guess I have been listening to the Guardian Music podcast again. They do stuff like that, and then it's like, this cool new single I found from this weird band. Like, okay.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, there was a new segment idea I was thinking about, and this is completely stolen from another podcast that I would name, but I can't honestly remember the name of the podcast. Okay. So I apologize to those guys. But what their podcast was that they would get, like, suggestions from people on Twitter or email or whatever, and it would just be like the people would give them a fake video game title, and they would review it, quote unquote, just based on what the title said it was, sort of thing. And they would like give a brief description of what the game was about and like what their favorite parts and stuff about it were, and that
so just kind of make up a thing for it. Is based on just the keyword, kind of like it's honestly reminded me of like there was this time David Cross wrote some stuff for Pitchfork, but he just made up fake band names and then described what they did, but they're not real.
Exactly, but the thing is like
I really like their indie sound, but 3 out of 10 or something. You know,
someone on Twitter might be like Burgerlancer or something,
right?
And then we would be like, oh, Burgerlancer, that classic video game where you're playing as a McNugget and you're trying to kill all of the burgers. You know what I mean? Like, you're just talking about it, sort of thing. And their podcast would only be 10 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like
I thought
shit
games. Like that. Yeah. Or like movies or whatever. That would be kind of cool, maybe.
Word association, just kind of improvise a story. Sounds kind of fun. Sure. Do you want to make that its own separate thing, or just be like, hey, a segment? Okay.
Yeah, just a segment. Don't want to make that a whole separate thing. But you know what is a whole separate thing that kind of relates to site stuff?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, doing another Pokemon tournament.
Oh, okay.
Got 13 people signed up. So
is that a big ladder, or is that a pretty...
Last time we had 10. And it went for 4 hours.
Gradually growing.
Yeah. There's one name on there that signed up, one of the first names, actually, I've never seen in our chat room or on Twitter or on the site anywhere before. So that's a little bit interesting. But yeah, that's going to be happening tomorrow at about 4:30, like our time is when we're all going to get together and get ready. And then it's going to probably go live here on Hitbox at 5 our time. So 7 o'clock Eastern. But yeah, that should be fun.
You're just saying there's like some new Pokemasters just wandering around looking for tournaments. And they're like, oh, hey, all right.
There's technically 13 of them in our community alone.
Right, but you're saying like there's 12 people you recognize and one mystery.
Right, so the way I'm kind of hoping this goes is that just like everyone's kind of mingling or whatever, and then this guy just shows up late out of nowhere, signs in, and just like destroys everybody and then signs off. It's just like the mystery Pokemaster.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa, Pikachu, I choose you, or whatever, and then Pikachu does like this crazy move, destroys every team.
That no one's ever seen. They didn't even know it was in the game. That's how crazy it is.
And then he just like, Pikachu, come back, puts him in the ball, just like turns his hat and walks away.
Yeah. It's like Toshiro Mifune or something. Just walks out of the dust. And yeah.
It would be pretty great. But yeah, we have some strong competitors from the last time, so expecting some good stuff. I'm probably not doing prizes this time, because last time, for one thing, just straight up, it cost me a lot of money.
Oh, okay.
But secondly, there's nothing relating to Pokemon I could really give out as a prize, because at that time it was like, well, Pokemon X and Y came out, so like, why don't you guys compete for a copy of that? And that seemed fine enough until I had to ship a copy to Germany. So, barring that,
like, okay,
the shipping cost caused about double what the game cost, so it was kind of gross. But
man,
I don't know.
Couldn't you just like, wasn't that a 3DS game?
It was.
Couldn't you just like email them a code or something?
Nope. You can't. Trust me, I looked into all of that.
Different store regions or something?
In fact, what we did is I just gave him the money through PayPal, which still kind of was way too much because of there's a currency conversion like fee.
Yeah.
And that was like a third of the price of the game by itself, sort of thing. Wow. So it was gross, like doing it through PayPal that way. But you know what? It really doesn't matter, because I said whoever would win would get their choice, and he got it. That's all that matters to me. And it was fun. So well worth it in the end.
So this time it's a Sega Weekly Humble Bundle. What does it have to do with Pokemon? It's Japanese. Done.
Pretty sure it's just not going to be anything. Like, I was thinking maybe Krasner G shirt.
Okay. But shipping, again, could be a problem.
But then again, it has nothing to do with Pokemon. So it's like... I mean, like, I have shit I could give away. I have this, like, pop can right here. If somebody wanted to compete to be the Pokemaster for the magical pop can, like, I have shit I could give away. But, like, it doesn't have anything to do with Pokemon. So,
just buy a plushie or something. Or it's a Pikachu. You have your very own. Actually, you get a 1-month subscription to Netflix, which has Pokemon on it. You can watch it.
Pikachu.
There you go. Prizes. But hey, maybe people just want an excuse to play Pokemon competitively, so you don't necessarily need to.
And you know what? That's it. Is that, like, even without the prizes sort of thing, everybody last time was just happy to kind of hang out, like, with a bunch of people they know from the internet sort of thing in the same chat room, talk about the game they love, and watch some good Pokemon play.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's going to be happening tomorrow. I'm nervous about it. I'm always nervous about that sort of thing, though, where it's like, it's different when it's just like, I'm going to play a game and then I'll push this button here and people, if they want to chat to me while I do it or like hang out, that's a different thing than like we're putting together a tournament roster and like getting people organized and set up sort of thing. So we'll see.
5 p.m., right? You said?
5 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And I'm hoping because of that, it will only go to maybe 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, very latest. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But that's happening. And yeah, what's up?
I have another video game I played.
Okay,
if I may
go for
go
it.
back in time. I kind of want this to lead into some site-related thing we can announce maybe. Towerfall Ascension came out on the Steam. So
It did?
how about that? That was
That is local co-op only, so it is a useless game to me.
That's not true. There is a single-player mode that is actually not bad. So I guess that's kind of what I wanted to announce. But
single player.
yeah, it's. I guess.
Is it just battles? Like a tournament sort of thing, like Nidhogg?
No, it's actually kind of different levels with different weird enemies that have been designed for it, and it's kind of like it's almost like a wave-based thing that you're fighting against and trying to do well at that. But there's also there's also kind of like time trial stuff, like almost like the target thing from Smash Brothers. Like people talk about it like, oh, it's kind of like Smash Brothers. This part actually is kind of like Smash Brothers. It's basically you're just trying to smash these targets within insane times. Like the time challenges for those are really nuts. So I don't know. Like there's a decent amount of kind of just stuff for me to mess around with on my own that makes me feel a little better about it than something like Nidhogg or Samurai Gun in terms of like, well, this at least put in some effort to kind of provide something. But yeah, that game obviously would be best with 4 people playing competitively, and there's tons of variants and stuff, kind of like Smash Brothers, that you can like change which items are coming in there, or like, are you racing to get a certain number of kills, or is it like points based for other reasons, or is it kind of a sudden death kind of thing? Like there's a lot of variety in there that I'm already kind of appreciating, and I don't know, even just 1v1 like Brittany and I playing, like. I guess the thing to kind of be especially like, oh, actually, the balance of the game, like, for some reason, the game that came to mind was Uniracers, of just like 2 people can just like pick this up
banding
and start playing. No. I mean, like the rules of the game are simple enough to understand, and it's easy enough to play. Where like
hungry hippos
can just like hungry hippos. You can just pick it up and start having fun like almost right away. And I don't know, like, we were kind of evenly paced for a bunch of the battles, like 10-8 kind of thing for some of the scores.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like, I would obviously like to play that with a bunch of people. That's the ideal way to experience it. But unlike some of those other games, like, this one at least kind of has they also have, like, a slickness to the presentation I just like. Like, the instant replay. You can export your crazy finishers or whatever as a GIF, as a replay or whatever. So you just like press LT and it'll just export it to a folder as a GIF, and then you can share it around. And I don't know, just like the menu design and stuff. Like it's just kind of like a sharp package, and it was like $12.50 or something. Like it's the launch sale. So yeah, that was kind of the one I was most taken by when I'd play it at trade shows and stuff. Like between Samurai Gun and that, I was just like, well, Towerfall has like this whole host of options and kind of variety in its gameplay. This has a sword and a gun. Like I don't know, like this isn't as robust. Like I honestly was kind of confused why people were kind of talking so favorably about one over the other one. It's like, did you know Towerfall's here? It's like this, but actually like really good. So, it's kind of asshole about it, but yeah. The Ouya game that mattered is now on other platforms, so it's kind of fun. I feel
like we should do a game stream night.
I should come over
all those.
We should
local games.
Some of those games because they're fun to play. I'm not sure how fun they are to watch, but we'll find out.
No, but like we could do the Nidhogg, the Samurai Gun, the the Narwhal one. You know which one I'm talking about? You're stabbing each other with your horns.
Oh, I haven't played this one, but okay.
There's that one.
Stuff. I mean, there's the Sports Friends games coming out soon too, which are. I mean,
I just feel like we should get together with a group of like 4 of us, like 2 other people, and just do like a stream night maybe of doing all those sort of things, because that's the only time we're ever going to get together and just play those the way they're meant to be played for one full night, all of them.
Right. And I mean, like, I have kind of been annoyed about, like, there's no online, so I'm never going to play this kind of option. Actually,
Right.
Nidhogg does have online. It was just kind of always really laggy and weird when you play it. But they
Which kind of breaks it.
It kind of does, but
yeah.
At least they tried to do that. But
yeah.
I mean, 10, 12 years ago, like, that was just not a possibility. So it would be just friends gathering to play a fighting game. And they are asking like a quarter of the price of a regular fighting game from that era. So,
but you know what? The generation now that was us 10 years ago, that's fine. Because that's the college dorm room type friends coming over every weekend generation.
Friends coming over every weekend. That would make sense. And I don't know for sure, but it seems like there's kind of that long-term unlocks kind of thing. Like, if you play a lot of Towerfall, you're going to unlock a couple more characters and different stages and stuff. Like, they seem to have kind of paced it out a little bit in that way. And I don't know. I was happy with it. I picked it up yesterday. I also bought the GTA bundle, the Rockstar bundle, because I didn't have it on PC. So, yeah, I won't play episodes from Liberty City again. I like those. But I don't know why I brought that up. I guess I was just thinking I bought it the same day. So.
Okay.
Steam
Fair
days.
enough.
Anyway, Towerfall's out. It's pretty cool. And hey, we recorded a podcast with the guy who did the music for that game.
And who talked more about Towerfall than his actual other games.
Yeah. He also talked about Marion quite a bit. The game that never was.
Actually, okay. So, real talk, I guess.
Yeah.
Him talking about Marion was the most insightful and depressing talk into the background of indie development I think we've ever had on that Indie Talks podcast.
Yeah, no, it was kind of like, I've never heard him talk about this. Like, I thought that was,
It was pretty raw how he like felt like a failure and stuff because of it and all the things he promised that he couldn't make good. Like, it was crazy how much he talked about that because he hadn't talked about it in other stuff before.
Yeah,
and I feel bad that we brought it up. Like,
but I was just curious as a fan of the podcast and stuff.
As soon as he was talking about that stuff, like, I felt bad instantly. We brought it up because I'm pretty sure he used the term "it was my biggest failure" or something like that.
But he sounded like he was doing good now, like part of Indie House and everything, and like, I don't know,
sure,
things turned around.
Alakaloka, let's just say his name first.
Yeah.
He's never done bad when it came to the indie thing. He's always been somewhat involved in the scene to the point where he's a name for like other indie developers. Everybody kind of knows him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, he's never done poorly, but yeah, that Marion thing, man, I've never heard him open up that much about that. So that's pretty interesting to me. And that'll be going up.
Stay tuned for that. It's kind of depressing, but there's some good happy stuff too. I don't know.
And it's fine. And like, we joked around and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about Godzilla even maybe for some reason.
I think Pacific Rim came up, and then we probably talked about that because of that. So yeah. I guess this is a bit of a dated recording because we're talking about going to see Pacific Rim in the theaters, but we did that. So, yeah, I guess for people who listen, fixate that in time. But yeah, that should be going up soon. I just figured it's appropriate because Towerfall is kind of the talk of the town.
Sure.
Right now, so get it out there. And I listened to that new Daft Punk Pharrell song, and it's it's pretty good. Pretty good.
But glad to hear it.
There's like robots harmonizing with a person. It's fun to hear. So that's all I did for media this week, I think. What's happening now?
Well, that is it, I guess. So let's hear from some voicemails.
Oh, okay.
You ready to do that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
We gave our responses. Now we get to respond to the people responding to the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. Trying to work the title in there somehow. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. 6 voicemails this week. So let's go.
Hey Paul, hey Nate. I'm about half done with my Goof Custom. The Goof Custom is a custom Goof that is armed with a long thin cable with a magnet at the end that can attach itself to planes and shit to zoom around like fucking Batman. Also when attached it can send jolts of electricity through the cable and into shit like mobile suits and cause them to power down. This feature was pretty handy when Norris Packard, is the most notable pilot of the Goof Custom, used a powered down EZ-8 as a human shield, except with mobile suits. Anyway, it is also armed with a heat sword which can cut through titanium as if it were butter, a 3-barrel 35mm machine gun which is mounted on the forearm instead of the standard machine gun fingers that Goofs are armed with. However, probably the most notable weapon of the Goof Custom is the 75mm Gatling gun armed on its shield, which can be ejected real quick in situations that would be an inconvenience, such as when armed out of ammo or close-range combat. The Goof Custom was a 1-year war suit, so it would probably be pretty dated and very weak in pretty much all of the rest of the Universal Century Gundam shows, except for the other 2 1-year war shows, Gundam and Gundam 0080. It also can't fight in space. I've been talking to Meowth on Skype lately, almost weekly, and my question is, do you think I can convince Meowth to watch some Gundam? I'll see you at the stream.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, anime, right? It's an anime. It's got stuff in it. Crazy robots.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Meowth like she can't hear us.
Okay.
And I think her stream died again, and she legitimately might not be able to. But I'm going to say no. And the reason for that is because she's so into her other anime and how much she has on her plate, that getting into another, 5,000 episode anime might not be the next thing she's looking to do.
I guess
that's my thought.
And, the subject matter hasn't ever, I'm, Full Metal Alchemist and whatnot. It doesn't really seem to cross over a lot with big robot mech
robots.
Kind of things. Yeah. I guess all that was very inside baseball talk about a custom mech that Marshmallow wanted to design.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was just kind of like a guff, and it's got a big sword, and it cuts through titanium, and it's just like, okay, I think I'm following, but gotcha.
I mean, I'm following exactly what he's saying, but I don't know, in that universe, what that means.
I guess it's like how I would draw, my own Godzilla monsters for a while there in my Flames notebook. You open that thing up, and it's like Ghidra, but he's got arms, which, as we all know, Ghidra doesn't have arms, so that's kind of crazy. But then there's also, this weird kind of Blork monster or something. It's just got a giant one eye. Yeah, all right. I have a point of relatability. Big things you design.
But
I should probably draw
if you're wanting us to try to convince her, Meowth, fucking watch Gundam. There you go. I tried.
So good. There's Gundam up there, so
I tried.
Consider that.
That's the best I can do. I apologize. Next voicemail. Here we go.
Hey Paul, hey Nate. So I've become obsessed with Fire Emblem this week, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I played Fire Emblem pretty much from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. All that time, and what do I have to show for it? Just a Knight Lord, Great Lord, Blade Lord, Valkyrie, Druid, General, Swordmaster, Hero, Sniper, Bishop, Warrior, Nomadic Trooper, Falco Knight, 2 Paladins, and a Wyvern Lord, all of which I promoted at level 20, and all the characters I could possibly recruit, which at this point in the game is everybody but Wallace. I've missed several streams because I was playing that godforsaken game. I'm sorry, Albus. Although with my shitty garbage internet, I probably wouldn't have seen shit. My internet is the stuff of nightmares. I would literally kiss someone's ass to trade internet speeds with them. I'd suck dick for a better computer. My question is, what are some of your favorite handheld games? Near at least 5 for each handheld system you own. Unless, of course, you have less than 5 for each system. You two don't talk that much about awesome handheld games unless it's $9.99. I'll see you at the stream.
$9.99 is pretty good.
I don't talk about handheld system games a lot because I don't play them very much. They are my game where if I'm riding along in a car or in a plane, I might get to, or on the bus. But I won't sit down at home and just play on a game very much unless I'm really into it.
For a while, I was kind of like, instead of reading, that was my thing. I'd just curl up with a game at the end. So, I'd play like Luminous and Ollie Ollie and such on the Vita.
Sure.
But 999 stuff. Honestly, I find those book-like games really ideal for that. So like the Phoenix Wright games or Ghost Trick and stuff kind of fit in there as being kind of laid back adventures you can kind of just go through that aren't super demanding on your reflexes and stuff, because by the time you're playing them, you're kind of tired. But yeah, I've
games
never
for each system.
Yeah, I never really got into Fire Emblem. But okay, 5 games for each system. So we'll start the original Game Boy going all the way back.
Tetris
Metroid
has
2,
to be on there.
Tetris,
Yeah.
Super Mario Land 1 and 2. 6
Yeah,
points.
I agree with you. I'm there. Yep.
How do you feel about that Donkey Kong game? Because I know John really likes it. I like that it is more expanded than just default Donkey Kong, but I never really got into it. I'm gonna say Miss Pac-Man. I love that port of Miss Pac-Man, and I played it a ton. That was my
The last
jam.
one for me would be Pokemon Red.
Okay.
The original Game Boy. So.
I'm trying to think if there's any other kind of weird offbeat stuff on the Game Boy. No, there isn't. Let's move on. Game Boy Color, kind of the same thing, but not. Link's Awakening DX, it's pretty good. Yep. I kind of wish I beat it though, but I still
Pokemon Gold for me.
Okay. Man, I'm trying to think if there's like more color specific games. Oh, dude. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. So that's 2 more. Zelda. That was the Zelda system apparently. Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
No, that wasn't mine. So
I know.
I don't actually remember. I can't honestly remember.
Yep.
I played the mini games in the Game Boy Camera a lot.
Okay, so Game Boy Camera. Also, that's a weird pixelated camera that people have had fun with subsequently. So yeah. Let's move on to GBA. There are a lot of good GBA games. This is starting to get. This is where it gets a little dicey.
Metroid Fusion was the huge one for me.
You're right. I'm also going to say, it was kind of a topic on Reddit I saw where people were like, dude, games that don't hold up at all, the original Metroid, that's why Zero Mission is a great thing.
Zero Mission is fantastic. Yeah.
Takes the same story and actually makes it playable. So, yeah, both of those Metroid games are fantastic. Minish Cap was pretty sweet. Dawn of Sorrow? That was DS.
If we're talking, okay, so
what's that Castlevania game?
Let's say GBA, DS, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The Castlevania games were there. They're on the list for each one.
Actually, really just the Castlevania double pack, which Area of Sorrow, and Harmony of Dissonance were both on there. I really liked Area of Sorrow. I never finished Harmony of Dissonance, but I actually found that cart a couple weeks ago. I didn't find Pokemon, but I found my Castlevania double pack, and I went, oh yeah! So
cool.
That was a happy find. Yeah, those games were really good on that. And oh man, I'm trying to think what it was another. What was the first? The first Castlevania game on GBA was also pretty good, but it took me a long time to get into it because it was kind of just didn't have the presentation. Wasn't quite there. Oh, dude, Astro Boy Omega Factor was pretty good. That was a treasure game. Yeah.
Okay.
That was a treasure almost Gunstar Heroes kind of thing. There was also supposed to be a really good Gunstar Heroes remake, but I didn't play that. But yeah, Astro Boy was actually a pretty fun game. Oh, and man, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I think I'm over 5 now. GBA was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I'm trying to think of more GBA games.
Yeah,
because for me, Fire Red would have been one, but I never owned it.
Did you like Advance Wars?
I didn't play it actually.
Okay. I mean, Fire Emblem came to the States, came to North America on that system, so that was kind of a big deal.
Final Fantasy, what was it?
There were some good ports.
The American 3 or whatever. It was a port. So
5 was also on GBA.
Other than that, it was essentially that and Metroid. For me, that was the Metroid machine, as well as I played a little bit of Golden Sun when the SP came out.
Mine came with Golden Sun. I played a decent amount of it, but it was never quite more than an okay thing for me. But it was pretty good.
And
I
you
wasn't
said
good at
Harmony
it,
of
though.
Dissonance, right?
Yeah, I said Harmony of Distance. Yeah,
Did you say Circle of the Moon?
Circle of the Moon? That was the first one. I had that one
Yeah.
too. That was kind of the that one took me so long to kind of get over a hump in it, but once I did beat that game and I actually liked it.
The
But-
GBA for me was the Metroid and Castlevania, like the Metroidvania machine.
Yeah, it had a bunch of really good ones. That was kind of its shining thing. I will say one last WarioWare Mega Micro Games. Like that's where that series started. And actually, I said I'd say one more, but I'm going to say another one because Rhythm Tengoku was the same people, and that was a Japanese cart I imported, and that is still my favorite entry in that series because it's all button based.
It?
Yeah, because GBA, like, portable games are universal. Like, you can pop a cart in there and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I imported that game because I was like, this baseball rhythm thing that I'm seeing right now, that is, like, my dream game. And that was totally in there. And, yeah, that it was button-based rhythm stuff was just, it had a, like, one-to-one. It was more satisfying to me than any of the touchscreen rhythm gold games that they came out later. Those were okay, but the first one was the best one. So, GBA. Sorry, I kept going on that. Now we're getting into kind of DS, PSP era. So there's two systems to talk about on two different platforms. Obviously, we could have been talking about the Lynx and all this stuff. Wasn't that portable? The Game Gear.
Dude, none of that counts. If we're going
I
to
know.
count that, we might as well count Tiger handhelds, in which case that Batman game
what
that
are
you
your
would buy
five
at
favorite-
Safeway was good.
Yeah, what are your 5 favorite N-Gage games? Go.
I never played any of them,
I know.
period, at all.
Yeah. Okay, so DS and PSP. What comes to mind?
Resident Evil Deadly Silence.
Was it good? Was it actually good?
It's Resident Evil.
It's like the first one, right?
It's the port, like Deadly Silence, Resident Evil DS.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, at the time it would have been Pokemon Platinum, but I didn't get super into that. I did play a lot of it because you just play a lot of Pokemon. Like when you're playing it, you put hours into it, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think of what else there. Oh, the Kirby Superstar.
Ooh,
whatever.
dude. Or you mean Canvas Curse?
No, I don't.
Canvas Curse.
I mean the re-release of the SNES that they did on the DS.
Okay, actually, I really liked Canvas Curse.
I never played it.
It was an early game that worked out for them. Man, Metroid sadly wasn't very good on the DS. So
Which one was it?
it was
Hunters.
Prime Hunters. Also, Pinball was on there.
I kind of wanted Pinball because Prime Hunters wasn't good. You're right.
I kind of wanted Pinball too because it would use the GBA pack as like a rumble.
Yeah.
Which sounded fun. Like it's just like, okay, that sounds cool, but I never had that game. I'm trying to think. Yeah, what were some of my standout favorite games?
I
on
actually
that?
liked Hotel Dusk.
I got
at that
stuck
time.
in that game. Like the adventure game logic thwarted me, but it seemed stylish and kind of cool looking. But I never finished it. I got Trace Memory too. That was the same team.
Oh, World Ends With You. I liked a lot. At the
okay.
time.
Um,
Orcs and Elves was fantastic. Going back to the dungeon crawling, fucking the what the hell is that called? The like where you're waiting your turn-based style of dungeon crawler sort of thing. Like one turn would be swinging your sword, and then they would get a turn to like spit poison at you or something. And every time you took a step forward or to the sides or whatever, it would be a turn. That was probably my favorite game on the DS for a while, and that was like $10. So
I'm trying to think back to like what I was actually sinking a lot of time into. Like the first Layton game, Curious Village, I really liked.
okay.
The first Phoenix Wright game, Ace Attorney, like that
Okay.
one quite a bit. Especially the last case because they actually embraced the DS features and stuff. I actually was kind of bummed out by the Mario and Luigi game I played. I only played Partners in Time. I heard Inside Story was good, but I kind of fizzled out on that. Mario Kart on there was good, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was one of my favorites. It was just a solid Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think if there were some of the special standouts.
Sorry, I took my headphones off for a second. I'm just looking at my game thing right now.
Man, what was that stupid Sega like dating game? That was like really goofy. There was like Rub Rabbits, but that was the sequel.
Oh, I don't know then at all. That doesn't sound familiar. This game right here. GTA
Chinatown
Wars. I liked a lot because it went back to that old style.
Yeah.
And it had
kind of fizzled out.
If you remember on calculators in school there was Drug Wars, that game.
Yeah.
It had that in it. So where you would buy drugs from people cheap and then sell them when they were like on the market, like hot, or they were taken off the market. So that's when you would go sell them.
Okay, Feel the Magic XYXX, aka Project Rub. That was a weird game.
P-Cross 3D.
Okay.
It's a huge one for me for a while.
I'm gonna
venture. Heaven. I loved Rhythm Heaven. I loved the Under the Knife games.
Oh yeah, Trauma Center. The first one was pretty sweet.
I mean, I said it before when we were talking about GBA games, but like Castlevania.
Yeah, I liked Portrait of Ruin, and Dawn of Sorrow was okay as well.
That carried over for me. I loved Elite Beat Agents.
Elite Beat Agents is good, that's right.
Elite Beat Agents made me destroy my first DS screen. I got mad and punctured a hole in it with the pen.
Jeez, okay.
I still have it somewhere, too. Maybe I'll dig it up sometime from my parents' house and show you the just shattered LCD touchscreen thing.
Okay. That first, that Zelda game, Phantom Hourglass, I actually ended up liking. I played it way after the fact, but I actually got into it.
Right.
I thought it was pretty sweet.
So that's more than 5 for me, I guess. So
yeah. I'm trying to think if I can... I'm going to try to come up with one more.
One more?
Yeah, I need one more, because it feels like I didn't justify owning that system at this point. Like, I had a lot of games, but I didn't love some of them. Like, Super Mario 64 on there was kind of whatever.
What about Nintendogs?
I hated that game. Like, I bought it.
Didn't.
No, I did. Check my GameSpot profile. There's a review on there. It's like 5 out of 10, and I'm just like pissed at that game because it's just like, what is this? Like, it makes you redo the tutorials every day. Like, I remember, where's the content? Like, there's just a dog show and like a walk, and that's it. Like, this is barely a game. Like, I was outraged.
What was your name on GameSpot at the time?
Vice 86.
Was it? Okay, I'm looking it up right now, actually. Vice 86.
Vice 86.
There's no Vice 86. VICE? Or VYS?
VYSE 86. He was a character from Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah, still nothing. So you, sir, are a liar. You're a liar.
You're just bad at game spotting.
Maybe you.
Or maybe you can't just search via user. I'm gonna log in and see if it still works.
Oh yeah, you know what? You might be right.
Like, I don't. Yeah, why would you be able to look up a user review?
Because you can on Giant Bomb. You can just look up a user profile.
Okay, let me see if
and
this
it's
works.
the same site, essentially. Okay, so I'm just going to look on Nintendogs and see what people have said about it then.
Yeah, I'm logged in. Like, my profile's still here. Let me see what we got. This is
so,
awesome.
Like, if I look under reviews here, I should see something for Nintendogs somewhere in here. From you.
Ratings and reviews, 7. Pocket Bike Racer, Cold Winter, Nintendogs, Chihuahua and Friends. Yeah, I gave it a 5.2.
Oh, was it Chihuahua and Friends?
Chihuahua and Friends, yeah.
Oh, okay, so I looked up the wrong Nintendogs as well.
Rated on March 12th, 2006. This is the 8th year anniversary of this review. Thanks to everyone for coming down. Amazing.
Would you feel weird if we republished that on Pixel Response just as like a retro throwback or something?
I'd be totally fine with it. I hope the grammar's okay. I don't know. It was me a long time ago.
As soon as I find it, can I just copy and paste it and then like do a quick edit?
Sure. I also rated Castlevania Double Pack 9.1. 3 out of 3 people found this helpful, so I hope somebody buy that game. In theory,
you possibly helped 3 people buy that game. So
man,
really,
my most popular review though is Cold Winter. 9 out of 10 found this review helpful. So someone bought this game and was pissed off. But
they were so mad at you, man. You fucked them over.
I didn't give it a glow. It was an 8 out of 10 on Cold Winter.
But everybody knows that anything above a 7 is you have to buy this.
I guess so. So they're just like, what? Oh man, this is a long review. All right. Anyway,
so I'm gonna have to find your username on here and just grab a bunch of this stuff because it'll
fill
be
up
hilarious.
with old site content.
What should we call it? Like throwback.
Blast from the past. I don't know.
Blast from the past. Sure, why not? That works.
Yeah, and then we might have to pay Brendan Fraser some money, but hopefully it's okay.
Well, yeah, we'd be.
You could use it. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so good right now, so.
We would be the only ones giving anything.
Yeah, help out our Canadian brother in arms.
I don't think anybody's buying Monkey Bone on DVD these days, so I'm pretty sure he should.
That's one of those movies I've been like meaning to kind of check out because I heard it was dumb, but I don't know.
For some reason, that's my go-to Brendan Fraser movie, even though he's been in a lot of other stuff that was like critically loved.
Yeah,
it's just like no, he's always that guy that did that movie. Monkey Bone, or is it Crazy Bone? I think it's Monkey Bone.
Monkey Bone. No, it is Monkey Bone.
For sure, right?
It is, absolutely.
Okay.
Man, I'm tapped out on DS games. Let's move over to PSP. Luminous 1 and 2. Work
this
Time
is all
Fun.
you.
Work Time Fun is the best game they ever put on that system. It is the reason I kept playing it years after that system ceased to matter. I am probably going to buy that game on the Vita like digital store just to have it at all times and relive the magic again. It is fantastic. Man, honestly, that's kind of the game that matters. I'm trying to think what else was even on there. I know I had other games like Hot Pixel or something.
Okay.
That was like Atari's attempt at making a WarioWare-esque kind of random mini games thing, but it's just not that good.
Once you get past the cuteness, you realize just how painfully shallow this game is.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought that back up. So for me, PSP, the only game I've owned, because I don't actually own a PSP, but I bought a game for it for some reason, was that Mega Man remake. You know which one I'm talking about? The Mega Man X, Maverick X
dude.
Hunter.
Yeah, I have that. I was not really enjoying that, but
it's Mega Man X.
Maybe I don't know if it is. What I was playing maybe is a different thing. Cause okay,
what were you playing?
It was like a PS Plus game that was a Mega Man game, and I was just kind of like, wow, this is just ugly looking. Like I don't like this. Like it's like that kind of bad 3D that doesn't do a game.
Okay, yeah, it did that for sure. But it was still, like, gameplay-wise, it was Mega Man X, and it had terrible voice acting.
Oh, okay.
But it's Mega Man, so whatever.
It is Mega Man. Man, there's got to be, like, 2 other games that mattered on PSP. Like, people really like Puzzle Quest. I never really got into it.
Yeah.
Crush was kind of a novel concept. It was, like, the 2D, 3D thing. But it wasn't amazing. So yeah, I guess I'm just going to go with 3 games. Work Time Fun, Luminous 1, and Luminous 2. And those are the reasons the PSP matters.
What about Metal Gear?
I never liked any of them on there. Like, I was like, I have Acid and Acid 2 and Portable Ops. And I was just kind of like annoyed with Acid and Acid 2 because it's just like, these aren't even Kojima approved games and there's no voice acting in it. So I am just reading this tedious story, and I don't want to do that. So Portable Ops I played a little bit more, but I don't know. It just wasn't really crackling for me. The follow-up to that was in the HD collection, I actually enjoyed that a little bit more. I forget what it was. It was that kind of Monster Hunter-esque game where you're fighting robots and collecting parts for your army. What was that even called? It was like also Big Boss in like the 70s. and
I'm trying to remember.
Metal
Peace Walker?
Gear. Peace Walker. Yeah,
I never played Peace Walker.
That seemed better, but I also didn't finish that game. Like they just feel trivial. Like they're not the story, so it just kind of it's like I am not very drawn into this. But yeah, it was okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's move on to the current era of portable games: 3DS and the PlayStation Vita.
I can't speak to Vita.
That's okay. I'll try to come up with some stuff.
I'm gonna say just Persona 4 because that's the reason why I would buy a Vita right now.
Yeah, I mean I have Persona 3 on PSP, so maybe if I play that and enjoy it, I could add that retroactively to my PSP list. But fair enough. Yeah, no, that is a good game on PS2, so I can only assume it's also great on Vita. But 3DS, I mean Super Mario 3D Land was pretty fantastic, I thought. Zelda Link Between Worlds I also thought was pretty fantastic. That was pretty high on my list last year.
Okay.
Beyond that though, like I was not really impressed with what I played of Luigi's Mansion, and those are kind of the games I've played on there. Like we have a couple, like I mean we have Ocarina of Time, like the remake and stuff. I can only assume that's good, but I haven't checked it out on there, so can't really say. So yeah, I'm gonna go with just those two games for now because there's a lot of 3DS stuff I haven't played. Do you have any that kind of jump out? Or just like this dude,
3DS?
Yeah.
Pokemon X.
Pokemon X, okay.
What the hell is that game called now? Cave Story Plus or whatever, the remake thing they did. I like that. Other than that, the 3DS is my emulator machine, basically playing all the old games that are released on the store. So my favorite games on it are Mega Man 1 through 6, Castlevania, like all the NES games. So that's what
Zelda
that is.
2, yeah. Man, that's Zelda 2.
Actually, yeah,
I know. Like I played some, like I played some NES and like GBA games on there. So Minish Cap coming back. It's also good there. Yeah. Vita, I guess I'll go. Oh, sorry. I guess back on DS, I'm gonna bolt 999 on there. I guess I just kind of assumed that was brought up a lot lately. But Virtue's Last Reward obviously was kind of the big Vita thing that I enjoyed the most. Luminous Electronic Symphony though, also fantastic. I'm gonna say the best Luminous game they've ever made. Like they just figured out how to make the combos and stuff happen more often, and it's euphoric when it's working. It's amazing. Ollie Ollie is really good. Like I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I bought that on there and enjoyed it. Spelunky, that is a solid port. And I don't know, kind of like the Uncharted game I kind of fizzled out on. I started Gravity Rush but didn't really get immediately sucked in or anything. Same with Soul Sacrifice. I started that and was just kind of like, oh, this looks tedious. So I haven't really gotten too much into that. So yeah, I'll just go with those four, and honorable mention to Persona 4 for being a game I loved on PS2, so I can only assume it is pretty amazing there as well. So yeah.
Sure.
There's your Vita lineup. So there you go, the portable gaming hour. You know, that was some fast-paced, hopefully, I don't know. We slowed down. And
that was a blast from the past.
Blast from the past.
To play some shitty games that suck ass.
No, they were good. Those are good games.
Actually, yeah, they were the good games. We didn't talk about the bad ones.
Games that are great.
Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater port on the GBA.
Mm-hmm. I heard that was actually kind of cool. So
no.
Yeah, I heard
not
it was good.
Really.
Downhill Jam or something, wasn't it? Wasn't that one good?
Okay. So next voicemail. Here we go.
Hey Paul, hey Nate. Did you know eating pineapple apparently makes your semen taste sweet? When I have intercourse planned, I'm going to devour a pineapple beforehand, because you know having sweet tasting semen should be common courtesy. So I've been watching this amazing, awesome, totally cool, wicked anime called Gintama. There is a 5-minute clip of of this one episode of Gintama where in those 5 minutes they reference Gundam, Dragon Ball Z, and Star Wars. It's actually funny, unlike that shit Flizer is obsessed with known as Kill la Kill. Foot Kill la Kill. An episode I recently watched, one of the characters was dressed as a pirate and he said he was searching for the legendary treasure One Park. Later at the end of the same episode, that dude said, "Believe it," and asked if that was the right punchline. So yeah, it's epic. It is an anime that is as insane as I am. Even Gintama knows Yamcha is a joke, though. My question is, have you ever been to one of those Canadian strip clubs? Is it true they can go full nude? How trashy are they? Who would win a fight between the T-1000 Terminator and RoboCop? I'll see you at the stream.
Wow, it's just complete left turn.
Okay. So, first of all, I just wanted to bring something up.
Yeah.
Today, at least for us, because it's still 11:30, it is not the new day, was official steak and blowjob day. So, I hope all y'all got yours. I sure didn't get mine.
It's
but
Pi
anyways,
Day. What are you talking about?
Steak and blowjob day. Look it up. It's a thing.
Okay.
Anyways, that was because of the pineapple thing or whatever. But Canadian strip clubs, I mean, I guess we just call them strip clubs, kind of like how Chinese people just call Chinese food food.
Yeah.
So I have been to a strip club on a few separate occasions. They're not as gross or like skanky as you might think, but they're not like not cool. Really. They're kind of still weird. And yeah, full nude sort of thing. They have the game or whatever where the like stripper, after she gets completely undressed, does some weird pose or whatever, puts a dollar coin, what we lovingly refer to as a loonie, up here, like somewhere on her body, and then you're supposed to throw other loonies to knock it off, sort of thing, and then if you do, you get a poster.
You're throwing coins at a person?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
So like
That
what they
sounds
would do is
painful.
they would stick it somewhere, like on their skin, right? They would just maybe like lick it or warm it up and then just stick it against their skin. And then you would take your loony and like from the pit area, and she's on the stage, you're trying to like knock it off with your loony. And then you
or
would
make
get a
her
poster.
move to where it falls off.
I mean, I guess technically you could just like whip it at her head, and then when she just
Ducks
goes back in
dramatically.
pain.
It's like, oh, it fell off. It's like, there, I won, right? It's like, you're an asshole. You have to go. Ving Rhames comes out and throws you out. I saw striptease movies, so I assume it's kind of like that.
Okay, so I'm guessing you haven't been to a strip club.
I haven't been to a strip club. I have not.
You're not missing out. You're not missing out.
Okay.
Straight up.
Is
costs
full
money.
nude like a weird Canadian only thing? I thought some clubs in Vegas and stuff also do that, but I don't know.
I don't honestly know.
Okay.
So, but the ones I've been to have been. And just a little capper on that story, I had a friend, and he was telling me about how when he was at the strip club last, because he likes to go there a lot, or he did, I haven't talked to him in a couple years now.
Okay.
He saw somebody doing that loony game, and they were like underneath the table taking their lighter and heating up the loonies so it would burn the girl when they threw it.
That's bad.
It's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a stripper, maybe don't strip in Canada, because you have to get fully naked and then get like burning loonies thrown at you.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, you're not missing out on anything. There's a cover charge to get in, so you're paying like $10 to $15 just to get in the door. Then every drink there is a minimum of usually $8. And
okay. Do they have food? Like, is there any strip club where it's like, hey, you know what? I know it's a strip club and everything. They actually have a really good hamburger. But like, that was kind of a joke in what was that movie with Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks, solving crimes and stuff in the late 80s? City of Crime. That one. Help me out here, Paul. Joe Friday. Dragnet. Thank you for the prompt there. The strip club has amazing coffee. That's kind of a thing in that. It's like, oh, this is the best tasting coffee in the whole state. And it's like, okay. Is that ever the case? Do they have like noteworthy food?
I don't know from experience, because the only times I've been in a strip club, I have spent so much money as to drink away all my inhibitions because I didn't want to be there. It was for like friends' birthday parties and weird shit like that. So I would just drink. So I have no idea. But I will say there is a bikini bar kind of near where my work is, sort of thing, just off of McKnight. And like, it's kind of weird going in there because it's like a little pub or bar area, like a lounge sort of thing, and all the waitresses are just wearing nothing but like thongs and bikinis and stuff. They have some of the best ginger beef I've ever had in my life.
And sorry, what's this place?
I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's just off of McKnight near the new McDonald's.
So Calgary Bikini Bar, amazing ginger beef. See if anyone else has reported this.
You're looking it up right now?
Raw Bar?
No, that's not it.
A touch of ginger delight? That doesn't sound like a bikini bar. Okay, that has failed. So I guess we'll have to do some more detective work on that one. But okay.
I remember going there for lunch, like, for my lunch break once with that same guy that liked to go to the strip club. Actually, we worked together. That's where we met. But I was surprised at how great their Chinese food was, considering the owners nor no one else in there was of Asian descent. They just knew how to cook some goddamn ginger beef. Sometimes that's all you need. Yeah. What was the question? RoboCop or...
Oh, right. Sorry, there's some weird stuff happening in the chat. RoboCop or... Was it the Terminator? No?
Was it the T-1000 version?
T-1000. Yeah, I think so.
The T-1000.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, in the new movie, he goes up against a bunch of kind of training droids and totally ruins them.
I haven't seen the new movie, so that doesn't count to me.
I'm on it. Well, even I guess I can't even think really back to other stuff, but I'm just thinking, like, agility wise, like the T-1000 is kind of slow but determined, and like, you know, if it's set as your target, it's going to try to finish you.
The original RoboCop wasn't exactly speedy.
Yeah, the new one is faster though.
Yeah, but that doesn't count to me because I haven't seen it. So
all right, so the new RoboCop would beat the T-1000. The old RoboCop, I'm not sure. He kind of only has that pistol, and he does have organic material. So if the Terminator got right up on him, he could probably do some horrible things. But I don't know.
Also, that bikini bar is actually called Coco's.
Coco's.
K-O-K-O.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get out.
Little plug there. I'm pretty sure they're actually gone. I'm pretty sure they got shut down for like health code violations or something. Something about like having almost naked bodies around food. It's kind of disgusting if you actually think about it.
But isn't that like a thing in some countries where like you actually eat food off of a naked person? Like that? That's
if you're a disgusting human being, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's gross. Mm-hmm. There's something about skin and off of it that's just kind of gross to me. So that's a personal thing, I guess. But
yeah.
Okay.
I'd say RoboCop, and you say T-1000. So there you go. Split vote on that one.
Split decision. Ref, make the call. Let's go.
Jeez, Paul. I'm going to ask one question, and then Nathan turns it around to a sob story about how sad his life is.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Nathan, why you gotta do that? It's not nice.
I thought it was relating.
Anyways, this question's for Nathan. Nathan.
Yep.
You know what I'm gonna ask, aren't you?
Pokemon?
And no, it's not Pokemans. It's, have you watched Space Dandy yet? And if not, why? Oh, come on, it referenced flippin' that Bill Murray movie, Groundhog Day, and I know either you or Paul love that movie. And there's also a great episode about zombies. And another great episode about space racing. And another great episode about Dandy finding a dog and saying funny lines. And then the other episode about when he goes on a planet and discovers plant people. I mean, come on, Nathan. You don't know what you're missing. It's pretty awesome. I recommend you watch Space Dandy because it's an awesome anime that has taken lead for Best Anime of 2014, in my opinion. and I watch a lot of anime. So, you're missing something I like a lot. And I watch a lot of anime, and is kind of pessimistic about anime, because they're so cliche.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I guess the English versus Japanese thing. I guess we've already talked about. So I feel like I probably didn't watch it right. It honestly is starting to sound like Japanese Futurama or something. Like just wacky.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
I like Futurama a lot, so okay. I'll give it a go in the proper spirit of watching it in English. So
Go figure,
Okay.
right? The proper way would be to watch it in English for an anime.
watch it in a different language. But I like Groundhog Day. It's true. So interesting to see what they do with that. If it's just an off the hand have you seen that episode? Is it just a casual reference, or is it like a loop thing that happens?
I probably haven't seen it. I can't think of something that is a direct correlation to Groundhog Day specifically.
Okay.
It must be one of the newer ones.
Okay. I did like the closing theme over the credits, but yeah, that's all I got for now. I'll give it another crack.
Oh, did you get the jazzy intro and end?
I think it was higher energy intro, I thought, but
It wasn't kind of like a smooth, funky jazz?
now you're kind of putting me on the spot to recall a song I heard one time, but
Sure.
yeah.
Do you remember what the intro looked like? Like the animation sort of thing?
The intro, no idea. Yeah.
Okay, was it pretty generic and just like big stuff happening all the time?
I think so. But
Okay,
again,
you got the bad intro.
But is
The
that
other
like
intro,
a first half of the season doesn't have the intro you're talking about, or
no, just one of the versions. There's an American and a Japanese version of the show.
well, this was on the Funimation site, so I don't know which one they have up there. But
Probably the bad one then.
okay,
I don't know.
again,
I don't know.
Vague. I saw it one time. Don't pin me on that. I don't remember. So okay, sorry. It's like 20 some minutes of my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next voicemail. Here we go.
So I finished watching the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood OVAs because they were streaming on Hulu, the free Hulu. I don't know if Hulu contests of American and Canadian Hulu.
It doesn't.
But the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood OVAs were online for free that day. I think they might still be up there. Because I checked last Monday and they were just like, new anime, this. And I'm like, oh man, I never got to watch these things because I can never afford the DVDs. That's amazing. So I just spent an hour just watching those, and oh man, that backstory with the brother's teacher and Mustang and Hughes' friendship story, it was so good. I recommend Nathan should watch them before he watches the series, so that way he knows the backstories of these characters. But I digress. Anyways, I am in need of help. This is very important. Daylight savings time has messed up my sleep schedule by a lot. Now, I know Paul can't solve this because he's already got a bad sleeping habit as it is. So, Nathan, how do you recommend I fix this sleeping problem I have?
No.
I mean, I can sleep, I just have a hard time falling asleep. Because stupid daylight savings time made me think that 10 o'clock's now like 11 o'clock p.m., and then 11 p.m.'s 12 a.m. Oh my god, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with I don't know why daylight savings still happens, kind of, but
Because the farmers.
yeah, that was like the answer every time. I was just like, why? What is this? Why the farmers, they need extra time in the morning to see stuff to farm? I don't know. It's like, oh, okay. I've had terrible sleep of late in terms of timetable. Like I went to bed at like 5 last night and woke up at like 1:30 in the afternoon. So it's been like, yeah, if I don't have work the next day, I wake up in the afternoon, like every day.
What's a good sleep schedule, though? Because, like, you realize I don't work until 1:30 in the afternoon most days, right? Like, that's why I go to bed late, because I don't want to wake up before.
So if you get like 6 or 7 hours and you feel rested after, I guess that's fine as long as it fits your life. So maybe you do have a consistent sleep schedule more so than
I don't get home until like 10.
Okay.
So that's why like 1 o'clock in the morning for me is only basically like supper time sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, do you have like a ritual or something to get tired and fall asleep or anything? Or do you have?
I
like,
watch YouTube
alarms?
videos or I'll read. Oh, for alarms? Yeah, I set an alarm for every half an hour.
To wake up when like it's like okay.
Because the idea is the first alarm will probably get ignored, and then after that it'll wake me up, and I'll just kind of lay in bed and just like relax for a bit, and then the other alarms will be like, okay, come on now, get up.
Yeah, I used to need multiple alarms, like in different parts of the house. Like I had my old cell phone that I would set as well and put in the bathroom, so I'd actually have to walk and go over there to turn it off.
Yeah.
Which would help out a bit. Whereas right now, it's just my phone right next to my bed. So there have been days. Oh man, there was actually a work day this week where it was like, I need to leave for the bus stop at like 8:30 or I'm going to be late. And I was just like, set my alarm for 7:15 and turned it off without even really realizing it. And then Brittany came in the room and was just like, it's like 8:15. I was like, okay, are you going to work today? What? You have to leave. Oh, and it was like this kind of like panic moment of just like unconscious Nathan slowly realizing that he has slept in like way too much. And
I get that too, where it's like,
oh no, it is like beyond the point of no return. I need to go. Like it's just terrible. So,
or like where you just like roll over and you're like, what time is it? Is this like 11? Fuck, I should have been there already. You like jump out of bed. Yeah,
that's no good. Like that used to happen with like, oh, I missed that class. Oops. Like just kind of totally ruin it. And I don't know. Yeah. So I have not had good sleep of late. I guess don't have caffeine too late in the day. That might be just a general tip. Apparently you're not supposed to really be using a lot of like electronics and such too soon before bed, but I don't do that.
I don't either. In fact, I look at Reddit to fall asleep.
And that doesn't work for me at all. Like I'll just like,
it does for me. Because
keep checking new and like it just never ends. So yeah, I don't know. I am kind of in trouble right now too. Like the ways it used to go is it would get so broken and so bad that eventually I would do what you have done and do an all-nighter and then some, and then I'd get tired and then wake up the next day after like 9 hours or something and try to resume a normal schedule. But yeah. And sorry, just by bringing up Hulu, I also like was reminded I watched a Community episode that was kind of aping 70s sci-fi and reminded me of Logan's Run. So I was way into that.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a cool one. It was basically about like social network kind of rating people kind of thing, and that kind of segments society in this weird way. And it was a pretty cool episode. So
we didn't answer her question.
Yeah,
what you can do about the
schedule. What?
Oh, the video just crapped out weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyways. Well, no, you said, like, don't use electronics before bed. The fuck does that have to do with the hour change? That's just a
in terms of
sleeping thing.
Yeah, that's just general tips. As in terms of daylight savings, I don't know. Like, ideally, you just adjust your alarms accordingly and it doesn't throw things off too much. But that the damage has been done. So to reset, I guess, stay up all night the next day as well and then go to sleep. Then the hardest part of that process is waking up that day on time.
No, like for an hour, don't do that. Just do your regular sleep schedule. Like, what's so bad about going to bed an hour earlier?
Oh, okay. So you're just saying just ride it out. It's not a big deal.
You go to bed an hour earlier, you wake up an hour earlier, sort of thing. Or
but
I guess
like
later.
Daylight cues are all weird, man. Like the sun's already there. Like what?
People use daylight cues? That's what alarm clocks are for.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's from the sleep expert, so.
The sleep expert, yeah.
Mine's broken.
31 hours now.
Yeah.
So.
The sleep expert. Doesn't even need sleep anymore. That's how good at it he is.
Honestly, I have hit my second wind, But the problem is now is that when I do go to sleep, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
The second wind is a bad part. Okay, last voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Nathan. I had an accident while at school today, and that involved me tripping on ice and falling down on my knee. So now my knee has a huge red scrape on it. And trust me, it doesn't really feel good. It feels really painful. But anyways, this leads me to the following question. I know you guys probably aren't the most classy of gentlemen, so do you ever fall down on ice? And if you do fall down on ice, what do you usually fall on? I know Nathan's probably going to be a pussy and say he doesn't fall on anything, or he's probably going to be a pussy and say he's too uncomfortable to answer it.
What?
Does Nathan, please just answer my question. I mean, last week you just went on a ramble about nothing.
This is again.
You answer one of them. Jeez.
Okay, so we're Canadian. Falling on ice is just a thing you do so many times for the first 20 years. You get used to not doing it as much when you're a little older, but it still happens.
It has, yeah. It happens in the
like
last
in your
6
formative
months.
years, from like the age of 2 when you're walking to probably like the age of maybe 18 or something, when your body is more developed and you're like you got control of your center of gravity because you stopped growing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like you're falling all the fucking time.
I will kind of space out my stance, though, when I approach ice and kind of be more careful about it now. But,
that's always a bad thing to do, too, though, because you can break your wrists by putting
if you fall on your hands weird?
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, what you're supposed to do is fall on, like, your forearm sort of thing.
Like, okay.
Like, yeah, I think.
Huh.
I mean, just straight up, I've fallen on my ass and hit my head many times. It's just
Due
it's
to
ice.
ice, primarily, yeah. Like, I haven't done, much like skateboarding or anything which involves falling. And we were with rollerblades and stuff, like elbow pads and all that, so. Dorks. But, yeah, I don't know. Ice is crazy.
I think there was something sinister behind that question. Because why wouldn't you answer?
It's like, you see me and it's like, I never fall, ever. I am the most sure-footed person around. I've never fallen.
Or was she fishing, I fall directly on my erect boner.
That has not happened.
So bad. No.
I was bad at skating as well, so that involved falling a lot.
If that ever happened, trust me, that would have been brought up a long time ago on the podcast. So,
yeah. Because
that's something that you wouldn't ever forget.
That did conjure up a terrible slipping story that a friend of mine suffered in like grade 3. It fell with his teeth, so he had to it was like his kid teeth still, so new ones are there now, but he had to have like a fake teeth for the front bit there, his bridge up here. But
sure.
Yeah, ice accidents are pretty routine.
And they suck. They suck every time.
Just embarrassing too. I think like me kind of standing awkward. I felt like walking to the bus stop one time a few weeks ago, and it's just kind of like that, kind of like, oh, did anyone see me? Like that was so dumb. And then you're just kind of like, oh. Like that's kind of the thing. Like it hurts my pride more than anything. But yeah, I haven't skinned my knee or anything in a while though. That seemed to be like kid things where I would be playing soccer or something and slide around too intensely and oh crap. Like grass stains on your knees? Remember those?
Yeah, those don't happen anymore. Like if there's a thing now that happens, it's a gash or a slice from equipment at work or something.
Yeah, like box cuts and like box cutters poking me. That has happened. That's my new injuries. I have a couple from this week of just kind of cutting boxes down to like recycle, but then reaching for something or whatever, like just dumb stuff that happens over the course of an 8-hour shift when you're really tired because your sleep schedule is terrible. So
they all
bring it all together. That's
the
storyline of the past week was being tired at work. I was only 15 minutes late for that shift though, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah.
So I have a quick question for you. Actually,
Okay.
you know what? First of all, if you have questions for us, this is how you can go ahead and do it before I ask you about mine.
Okay.
Got a question or comment? Oh, you can email us at podcast@pixelresponse.com or leave a voicemail using the voicemail feature on the right side of the main page. On Twitter, you can reach Nathan at Krasnor and Paul at Exposure. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thepixelresponse and visit pixelresponse.com for more.
Yep, that's it. That's how you do it. Quick question for you, because we're talking about work injuries and stuff, and this somehow ties in with the word work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be a mistake to work together?
Well, you were saying we wouldn't be there at the same time, right?
The reason I'm saying this is because I moved in with a friend, and we haven't spoken since I left, and probably won't.
Oh,
So,
okay. Like it ruined
like
the
being-
friendship.
It didn't ruin the friendship necessarily. I think we just had our fill of each other sort of thing. And what I'm not worried about this so much, but it was brought up in the chat that the podcast might get stale because we just have time to discuss shit like all the time.
Oh, like you're saying at work we just talk through all this stuff and then we would no longer have things to air on the podcast?
I think that's legitimate because like when we hang out or something and like then we talk about stuff and then we do a podcast, those podcasts we say a lot of stuff like, I know we talked about this already, but, and then we just go over the same shit again and it's less enthusiastic.
Right.
So there might be legitimacy to that, but I don't know if it would be a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, like some, like there's podcasts I enjoy where those people are literally working in the same office doing game coverage or something, but they can still have a fun conversation for you, like every week.
Sure. And they hang out still, like after work and stuff too, so.
Yeah, like it's like it might actually change the tone a little bit, like there'd be more familiarity there or something, but I don't know. Like if anything, I would hope it would be like we both are maybe doing the same thing so we could both talk about the same movie, like Oldboy this week or something, like
Sure.
but but I thought we would kind of be on alternating shifts, and you said there's kind of some downtime, so I could be listening to something or reading something and then still be able to talk about that. Like, I don't know. It's right.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Possibly. So
If that
should we
even
say that
pans out.
if that even pans out, put your
Yeah.
fears to rest, we've got this?
Yeah.
Is that
We should.
That's the way we should say it, I
Okay.
think.
Honestly, though, I was thinking if our schedules are exact opposite, how would we ever find time to talk?
All that and more next time on the Pixel Response podcast. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week, and have a good week.
So that mystery. Okay. The week intersecting, like, would it?